because we're already live. If you want to talk about it earlier, you could swap your topic with mine. It'll just give me more time to read.
Which one?
The Bionicle one. Do you want to swap that with mine? You would go 1, 2, 3. You be fourth.
Well, I'll be second as well because I have Avengers Academy.
Oh, so you want that break? Okay, I see.
All right. Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. The way I usually try.
The sentiment, but yeah.
The way I usually try working out the order of the comics is I want to have one round where each of us have a book of our choosing in that first round, me, then Witch, then Jake, then Austin, then rotating that way, So
yeah, the reason I'm putting Bionicle, well, first off, because I've been reviewing the same Bionicle book for a while, so it's not really as much of a priority for me. And also I was looking through the chapter list. This is 50 chapters. I'm in like the 20s, so and I haven't even gotten to the movie content yet. I'm still on the montage part.
Dude, much props to you, man. It has been so long since I've read a book.
Hold on, y'all.
50 chapters.
My YouTube ain't want to load. My YouTube ain't want to load. I can't post on the socials. Okay, wait, hold on. There we go. We're good.
The next time I do plan on reading a book won't be until that upcoming Hunger Games book.
Well, they're easy reads. I mean, the Bionicle, especially the Toametru books, they're really fun reads. Like the dialogue is great, the descriptions are fun. Like they're really easy to get into. But it is kind of like every time I look at the chapter list, I'm like, damn, and I gotta do another 50 after this. So, it has helped with my writing though. I got better at writing books now. So
Play honestly,
gotcha.
And I shared the goddamn thing. Thank you. Sorry, I was trying to do this. Okay. Also, there's a 50-50 chance I might not show up next week because some of my coworkers want me to go to X-Men show trivia on Tuesday.
Wow.
Okay. So you won't be on Monday or Tuesday, or just one of the days?
Just Tuesday. Might be Monday.
I see.
I don't know. We'll see how I feel.
Do you want to talk about some of your books on Monday then?
I'll let you know by Sunday.
Okay. Gotcha.
Because I have 2 books that I definitely want to talk about. One of them you already know, and the other one is the Halloween Christopher Chaos special, which I want to go into this real quick. So the book proper comes out tomorrow, for me, Wednesday. But I've already read it online. So I was confused.
Ooh.
But I'm still going to buy the book when I can, so,
Gotcha.
Also, audience, fun fact, I finally got colored I got my prescription, so now I can get all the colored contacts I want.
Cool. Gotcha. But anyway, you guys want to get started?
Sure.
Okay. Well, audience, welcome to Comic Phanatic Live, with the reviews of the week. You're hearing me, Cryptid Seeker 415. Nah, that's all you get. Move on.
Fair, honestly.
My name is Jake Tylenol, live in Toametru, where the final battle between the Toametru and the Morzabak has begun.
Austin's not here right now, but he might be here later. But besides the point.
Yeah.
I'm Richter, also known as the Witch of Jotunheim, pronouns they, he, and I love Charlie so much. They're awesome. And also, y'all ready for me to talk about more relationship BS?
And
in 2 separate books?
And together, we form the Fanatics. And we review the news, and I totally butchered that. And we cover the news and reviews of the week. And because it is Tuesday, our special Tuesdays, we will be reviewing some comic books. We got some great heavy hitters for you. We got Absolute Batman, Ultimates #5, and even something from our IDW Monster High, some Halloween magic for you. And so much more. So, feel free to keep supporting us by leaving a like on the channel. It really helps us out. And a comment, too, of what you like us talking about. And also, don't forget, subscribe. And don't forget to follow our socials.
Oh, yeah, we have those, don't we?
Yeah, I believe so.
Yeah, because I remember. So you can subscribe to us on YouTube. Please subscribe to us on YouTube. We are so close to hitting 50 subscribers. And once we do, we can start going live on there. Yay! Slay!
If everything works out.
We'll figure it out, don't worry. You can also follow us on Twitter at Comic Phanatic 69. We do post things on there sometimes. But if you don't want to follow our collective Twitter that I'm the only one using apparently, you can follow me on my actual Twitter at Witch of Jotun with an E instead of a U, because I do post things sometimes on there, you know. Don't worry about what I post, just acknowledge that I post things on there, right, Jake?
Yeah.
You can also follow me on Instagram and TikTok at witch_up_Jotunheim. And if you want to follow me on Tumblr, you can follow me at Northstar Aria, where you will find links to my fan fiction, because I want people to read my fan fiction. And before you ask, no, you do not need to read Alpha Flight that much to understand what's happening in the plot, but you might be confused on some of these characters if you don't know Alpha Flight lore. Yeah. So stay tuned if you want Toxic Yaoi on there. Go to my Tumblr. Yeah. And Jake where are you, Jake, this time? I keep forgetting where you are.
I'm in Tametru again. I'm following the adventures of the Toa Metru. They're about to go kill a giant eldritch horror plant. So.
Fair enough. Cryptid's in the same place as always, but I heard a rumor that he might be going to a very specific convention later. Maybe.
Nah.
No? Okay, never mind.
I'm busy. You know how busy I am these days, Witch.
Hey, you could have told me beforehand you weren't going to New York Comic Con. Anyways, if you want to find Austin, I don't know where he is, but we'll figure it out.
If we say his name long enough, he might appear.
It's like Beetlejuice. Say his name 3 times and he shows up.
Yeah. But anyway, I guess with that, audience, we can get on to the comics of the week. I guess I'll start us off. Let's see, with Absolute Batman #1.
And don't worry, audience, he absolutely has a no-kill rule.
If you're letting someone die, doesn't that count as a kill?
Yeah, if you're responsible.
Yeah. Like they're saying, like, okay, there's a hospital a couple blocks down. Yeah, I'll give you the directions. You could survive if you make it in there. Maybe not. You better start running.
Your Honor, in my defense, yes, I shot that old man, but I told him where he could find the nearest hospital, and he had so much time to get there. So really, I should be. I'm just.
Gotcha. But anyway, so yeah, this is the start of the whole Absolute line. I kind of want to give each of the trio a chance, you know, at least their first issues. The one I kind of really want to get more invested in is Absolute Wonder Woman, because it's been so long since I started picking up Wonder Woman comics, you know. So,
and hers looks the coolest, honestly.
Yeah, true. You know, instead of growing up in an island in paradise, she grows up in the opposite of paradise, basically. But here we just have another edition of Batman. Like, we need more versions of Batman, don't we? You know, another alterations, this and that. Here, we pretty much start off with, Lord and behold, Alfred coming in, who, I swear to God, he looks like Ra's al Ghul here.
Yeah, I saw that. Yeah.
Like, whoa, what's that about? Like the hair, the streaks to gray. He's coming in on a motorcycle. He's pretty much coming in here as a hardcore badass, right? He's here on an assignment, but you know, wants to get in touch with his daughter, but you know, she's not answering his calls, this and that. Okay, this version of Alfred's gone to the point where, why didn't you just call him Ra's at this point? You know, I don't see any resemblance to the Butler type here. You know, I mean, I know he was in the military back in his younger days, but still, you know. But anyway, so we get that, and we go to, lo and behold, Croc's gym. Yeah, because Killer Croc here, well, before he became Killer Croc, he has a gym, and you see who looks to be Batman hitting Bruce Wayne hitting the punching bags, only to find out that somebody comes in and is like, yeah, it's my turn, punk. and you see the real Bruce Wayne popping up, and dude looks jacked.
Unreasonably so. Like this is like Bruce Wayne on Venom.
Yes, like this is 90. If Bruce Wayne was being drawn in the 90s, you know, the whole unrealistic muscular mass and that stuff, you know.
Right.
Yeah, no, when I looked at it, it looked very 90s.
Yeah.
So, you know, when he's punching the bag, oh boy, he is punching that bag, man, like it's no one's business. And you know, you get some flashbacks to him in his childhood, because remember, audience, this version of Batman, he ain't rich. He grew up pretty much in the same neighborhood as most of his rogues gallery grew up, which is kind of odd because, you know, you do get a group shot of like, you know, Bruce, you know, in the same school as some of his villains, like, you know, Catwoman, Killer Croc, and Penguin. And I'm thinking, wait, Penguin and Bruce are the same age? What? In my head canon, I always kind of figured, like, you know, Penguin was at least 10 years older than Batman, but yikes, the years have not been kind on good old Aussie, you know? So, all right, so yeah, that happens. You get some other glimpses at the villains of this, who are apparently taking people's faces as trophies. So, yikes. And there's an assassination attempt going on at Mayor Gordon. Yeah, James Gordon here is now the mayor, right? Mm-hmm. Alfred tries getting involved, but this is when apparently Batman makes his debut, because, yeah, in case anybody wants to know where the whole bat epithet came from in this version, yeah, Bruce Wayne just had an interest in bats growing up. Yeah. His father was a teacher. They went on a trip to the zoo, and yeah, like Bruce Wayne just had a fascination with bats.
It's almost like the universe forces me to like bats for some reason. Like my whole DNA revolves around these animals for some reason.
Yeah, I know, right? Okay, but anyway, the people in black mask skulls come in, try shooting at James Gordon. Apparently Barbara in this universe is a police officer too. So, yeah,
no,
James Gordon does get.
I guess she's not a defense lawyer like in the Cape Crusader.
Yeah, you know. So anyway, Batman comes in and he does some pretty unique things with his cape that I'm like, really, huh? Dude, there are moments where his cape is kind of acting as if it was Spawn's cape. No, seriously, like he's grappling people, tying people in the necks with that, using it as a complete shield against the incoming bullets. I'm like, what's up with this cape right here? You know, because later on you kind of also find out that, yeah, even though Bruce is kind of poor, he's actually pretty much a straight A student at school. Won some science fair projects on some what you call like transformative like technology, like kind of like how a bat you know, folds itself but then unfolds itself, this and that. So yeah, go figure. This is kind of like the coolest scene, but also what we were talking about earlier. You see this one guy coming up, he comes in with a butcher's knife. And he's like, hey, this hand has killed more people than you can count. So what does Batman do? He takes out his staff and attaches it to the symbol on his chest, which pops out as an axe. Yeah, that's right. If you want some explanations of that horrible design for for his bat logo, it's a weapon. It's an axe.
Yeah.
So go for it. And then Batman just proceeds to chop that guy's hand out. Batman is like, I hear they can reattach them sometimes. There's a hospital about 3 blocks south of here. Or is it east? I can't seem to remember all of a sudden. But I'd run if I were you.
And bleed out and die from shock and blood loss. But it's okay because Batman's a killer in this universe, right? So like it doesn't matter. I'm just right.
Dude, he is so hardcore, man. That those pointy ears he has in his mask.
Yeah,
those detach, and he uses them as knives, man, to
but he's
stab
not.
the hell out of these guys.
Yeah. He's just built like one. And also, this Batman punching you as hard as he can would also probably kill you too, if not hospitalize.
Oh hell yeah, man. Yeah. I mean, I think even Punisher will want to take lessons from this guy, man. And the whole time you have Alfred from the rooftop looking at it, right? He's analyzing him like, okay, I see mixed martial arts, some Muay Thai, some Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu. Okay, I see where he's attempting to strike. It's a lot more blunt force than, skill, this and that. So, okay. Eventually, Batman and this version of Alfred do collide later on this book, and Batman ends up shooting Alfred in the face with a shotgun that contains miniaturized batarangs. Yeah, Alfred's safe. Just to let you all know. So, yeah. He just has a bunch of tiny batarangs pierced all around his face now.
I'm not saying like I'm glad this Batman. I don't mind I don't mind this Batman having restraint, but like just like say that you're okay with killing, but you're not like going out of your way to do it. I just
I know. But then of course you get like his origin story here. Apparently, that one day he was on a trip to the zoo with his father, because remember his father's a teacher. Some random gunman just decides, what? I'm going to rob a zoo. Yeah. Because there's one thing we know about zoos is they have money, right?
Right. Is he trying to get the animals or what?
He just comes in with a gun and starts shooting people, and like Thomas Wayne's telling all the kids to duck and cover, get inside. Well, what else? The bat exhibit for safety. So while he closed it, he went to go confront the shooter, but Bruce Wayne came out. It's kind of help his dad, only for his dad to get shot. And yeah, you see like Bruce Wayne growing up. Again, because he's not rich, you gotta take into account the trauma that will have on a normal little kid, Of course, Bruce Wayne grows up as a bit of a troublemaker. Yeah, he's kind of been to juvie. He's already had a mug shot, but he's good at athletics, and he's good at like a little bit of everything in science, So yeah. Oh, and did I mention he still has his mother here? Yeah, his mother's just waiting at the doorstep, So yeah, that's pretty much how the issue ends. But oh wait, y'all know what's going to happen at the end, right? Somebody decides to come into Gotham, and let me describe this. Let's see. Didn't you hear? This guy coming in? He never laughs. Not at anything. Not ever. That's why they call him the Joker.
Oh.
Well, like,
okay.
I got a minute to breathe.
Yeah. That part kind of sealed the deal for me. Like, okay, come on. I felt the same way when we were watching Cake Crusader. Like,
yeah.
Yes.
No, that's
Joker.
That was my reaction to Cake Crusader. I loved the actual ending, like spoilers for that show, but I love the ending of Batman like from across the street threatening the most powerful mobster in Gotham. And he doesn't say a word. He just throws a batarang at him. He's like, "I'm coming for you." That's what that said. And then like, yeah. And then it cuts to like the post-credit scene with like Joker, and I'm like, oh, yeah.
Come on, generic. Come on, give other villains time to shine. Like, look, I know I might be biased in saying this, but I kind of would think like this would be a great opportunity for Oswald Cobblepot to come in and look at Batman and like, hey, look, I have all the things you don't have, Bruce C. I have money, I have fame, I have good looks. I mean, yeah, I'm paying everybody to say I look handsome, but still, you know.
Which reminds me, watch the Penguin show. It's great.
Oh,
I heard good things about it.
Yeah, no.
Yeah, it has its moments, you know. If you're into Sopranos and that stuff, you know. So, I don't think I'm going to be picking up issue 2. Let's see. Apparently, this is part 1 of 5 issue story. Oh, I wasn't expecting this to be a mini series.
Well, it's probably just like a phase 1 to their plan, because I know it's going to all lead to like a big crossover. Like they will cross over with the main universe. So.
Yep. I'm just looking at the cover, man. It's for one thing, on audience, it's a $5 book, by the way, and they do specifically state this is for ages 13 and up. So yeah. That's pretty much all I have to say on this book. I think this week is Superman, so I'll give the first issue a try. So, alrighty then. I guess with that, we can move on, audience.
Yeah, let me pull up the actual issue real quick. Hold on. Just put up the picture. Yeah, yep. Okay, cool. Give me a second. Because my Wi-Fi sucks, so I need a moment. But I can at least announce the book. I will be talking about Marvel Voices Avengers Academy issue 16, also known as quote-unquote accounts due. I have to put that in quotes because of course. Anywho, so we start off in class. Of course we do, right, Jake? It's a school. As Carol said, it's a school.
Showing up with the crew in the schoolyard, you know what I mean?
Exactly. So we start off with Bobby Drake being like, oh yeah, my name's Bobby Drake. You might know me as Iceman. I've been on all of these teams. You know, I fought this guy at his worst and this guy at his best, you know? But we're going to do something more important today about being a superhero. Taxes!
Wait, can you remind me, like, who... Do all the Avengers and X-Men just work at this school, or is it just like...
I think it's like a volunteer thing. I think in like the first Avengers Academy they did that. I didn't read the actual first Avengers Academy.
Like, are these just superhero TED Talks, or like do they actually call it Avengers randomly?
I don't know, because the only like Marvel superhero that I could think of that has a teaching license is Aurora. Right. And I don't see her teaching at the school or any of the other freaking schools, but her brother gets to teach at the X Institute, but whatever. Regardless, I don't know.
I feel like all the...
like I know.
Last side note, sorry about this, but I feel like all the X-Men should have teaching degrees, like the ones that train under Xavier.
Exactly. Yeah. I was like, why is this person teaching this class and they don't have a teaching license? None of these mofos have teaching license.
Right.
Anyways, so we cut over to the front of the school, and this person is like, my God, Carol, how could you? They're just kids. So we get introduced, I guess, like reintroduced, if you've read the first Avengers Academy, to Hazmat. So good to know. So Carol's like, oh my God, Jen, thanks for coming. Oh my God. Anyways, so Bobby's going on his little speech about superhero accounting, you know. It's like, oh yeah, you know, like whatever you're deciding to do, you still need to do your taxes. But Brielle hands Sheila a note saying, can we talk? Okay? That's the important part of this, okay? Don't worry about it. Anyways, also Justin's passed the fuck out because he's bored. Everyone's bored besides Lunella. I don't think... Why would, like, how old is Lunella? Like 15? Why would she care about taxes? These are children. Well, 2 of them are actual children. I don't know about Sheila and Brielle. Well, they're still in high school, so I'm counting that. The other 2 are, like, they're legally adults. I think we're tending to forget that Aaron and Justin are legal adults, even if they're new to being adults, you know?
Right.
Anyways. So, you know, Bobby's still going on his speech again. So we cut over to Carol and Hazmat, you know, and Jen is like, Avengers Academy again? Like, after all that happened the last time? And Carol's like, I know it isn't easy, but thanks for hearing me out. And so we cut back over to Bobby, and he's like, oh yeah, and of course, in Canada, the whole thing is like BS, you know? So, Justin, watch out for those Alpha Flight motherfuckers, okay? They'll put a chip in you to make sure you go to all your shit. Besides, like, Marina, she got a brooch. Don't worry about it. Like, the leader is an asshole. I don't want to get into it. Don't get into it. Anyways, so Bobby finishes up his lesson on taxes, which, boo, taxes. So now they are gonna have fun with you know, what, as he calls it, applications of advanced emergency architecture. And Justin's like, that sounds even more boring. And Lunella's like, no, Justin. Guess what? Jake, guess what?
What?
It's ice slides.
Ice slides?
They get to make Bobby's gonna make them ice slides.
Oh.
Based off of their designs.
How's he gonna make the light?
Don't worry about it.
Okay.
Anyway, so we cut over to some of the students after this class, making like their ideas of what they can do for the ice slide. And you know, Normie, he has like his symbiote version of the slide. Lunella has like the blueprints, and then Justin just drew like a little doodle of him going down a slide. Have I mentioned how much I love Justin? I love him so much. Anyway, so Bobby's like, okay, little geniuses, come on, let's go have fun. You know? So we cut over back to Jen, and she's basically explaining what happened at the last Avengers Academy. I think Cryptid was the only person here that actually read the original run. I don't know. I'm not going to speak on his behalf, but I'll ask him later. So yeah, basically she's explaining what happened at the last one, you know, how you can't catch a break because, you know, the person that she loved was killed by Arcade, which, why would you do that, Arcade? That's really mean. He was trying to be a hero, okay? Like, Jesus Christ. Don't have to be rude. Anyways, so Jen is like, that's what this place does to students, you know, while we're seeing all the students and Bobby just having fun making their ice slides, because who doesn't want to go down an ice slide, right, Jake?
I would.
Exactly. So Carol is like, oh yeah, one of those students was you. Like, you're an Avenger now. You're a hero. Like, you're proof that, you know, something good can happen out of this, you know? And so basically Jen is like, and does this academy have the same secret as the last one? You know, do you worry that these kids will become supervillains too? And it's like, you're looking at these kids who are going down ice slides, you know? And Carol is like, well, not really. Not really. Not even like the one with the symbiote. I think we're good. I think we're fine. You know? The answer to that is no, not really. Anyways, so they finish up with their fun lesson of the day, and Sheila's like, I'll catch y'all later. And Aaron, he's like, hey, are you okay, Brielle? And she's like, I've been better. And he's like, come on, let's talk, you know? Because, like, why not? Sometimes talking works. Sometimes it just makes me more angry. Besides the point. Anyways, so Normie's trying to help Justin out of the wall that he crashed into because the ice slide in question was very, very high. And Normie's like, I guess that's why Sidorak fits you guys with crash helmets, huh? Like, slay. Anyway, so, and Bobby's like, you kids better be right about this ice cream place. Like, I'm a connoisseur. Thank goodness we have, like, an Omega level mutant being a chaperone to go get ice cream across the street. Because, you know, this creepy-ass motherfucker from the last issue pulls up. And, you know, the kids are like, oh my god, cool car. And this creepy-ass motherfucker is like, you wouldn't believe how much it guzzles through. Like, boss is on an errand. You kids want to ride? And, you know, stranger danger. Right, Jake? Stranger danger.
Absolutely. Remember, kids, don't trust strangers.
Don't trust strangers, especially if they ask you to get into their car that isn't an Uber. Right. Even in Ubers, be careful.
Well,
okay? If the license plate is correct.
Right. You know? And if you didn't order the Uber, don't get in the car.
Unless you know specifically that someone ordered the Uber for you.
Right. Call them.
Yeah. Like, text them, call them, make sure they send all the information, you know, like the license plate number and what kind of car it is, even if you don't know what cars are, apparently. Yeah. You know, give them the information. Stranger danger. Yeah. So luckily, Normie and Lunella are like, no, what are you talking about? And this creepy guy is like, smart. I wish I'd been that smart. The world came along and ate me up. Anywho, so we're back to Jen and Carol because, you know, Jen is like, why did you do this, Carol? Like, come on, you know what happened the last time. So Jen is like, wow, it's beautiful here, I'll give you that. And Carol's like, I've done military training, I did not want that for them. Like, it's a school. And I like how she keeps reiterating that it's a school, because remember, Jake, it's a school.
It is a
magical, super-powered school, but it's still a school.
Okay, not magic. What's Strange Academy for?
I mean, there's magical elements at the school. Like Brielle is here.
Oh, okay.
And so is Justin. He's also magic. Because of the Gem of Sidorak, because it's a magic rock that he touched. Yeah.
Oh, wait. Did Witch get disconnected?
Oh, hold a sec. Did you?
Okay, I'm back.
All
Hello.
Right.
I got it off for a second. But it's okay. I wasn't really talking about it. Important. Anyways, Carol's like, yeah, it'd be great for them to have you on, someone young. Like, so before she finished what she was saying, Jen was like, oh, yeah, something messy, you mean? And Carol's like, well, I could use someone good at knowing when plotting in, when the things are happening. Which this actually look cool. There's like a whole with like with the OG Avengers, the actual OG Avengers MCU will file. Don't think I don't know you. Anyways, so Carol leads Jen to this room, and she's like, an RA could be exactly what we needed. Spend some time with us. Like think about it. Like, this will be your room if you want it. The girls' dorm is down the hall. The boys are, well, you'll smell them. Because boys will be boys with their smells. Am I right? Okay, never mind. Anyways. Okay, whatever. Anyways, so we cut over to Aaron and Brielle, where he took her to his room, like him and Justin's room. And obviously she's kind of grossed out by the smell, because boys will be boys, right, Jake?
Yeah.
Yeah. And so Aaron's like, oh yeah, sorry about that. Like he was gonna clean up, but he fell asleep in the TV room. But more importantly, do you want to talk about it? And then we cut over to Sheila, where she's gonna be talking to Jen in this, by the way, because why not? Why not? Old Avengers Academy, looking after new Avengers Academy. It's nice. Anyways, so Jen is like, rough one, like, sorry, I was gonna look around, but I found a cat, Like, and she introduces herself as Jen, also known as Hazmat, because she is poison. And Sheila's like, yeah, I know the feeling. No, but Jen meant it literally, though, not figuratively, but regardless. Anyway, so yeah, she apologizes if that was insensitive, and all that jazz, and Jen's like, don't worry about it. And so Sheila sits down by her, and she's like, I thought she liked me, like, blah, 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 But, like, I'll get into it. And so we cut over back to Brielle, and she's like, Aaron, I think I screwed up. I kissed her, and Aaron is like, yeah, nice, She's like, yeah, it was, but, I mean, like, she's, like, freaking out. But Brielle's like, honestly, like, I've always known that I've always liked girls too, but like, I never just talked about it or thought about it or kissed about it. And I'm just like, you know what? Everyone starts somewhere. Am I right? Am I right?
Oh, you were asking? Then yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
Cool. Anyway, so we cut over back to Jen and Sheila, and basically, Jen is like, oh, yeah, all that takes me back, And Sheila's like, okay, real current pain here, not at all cute. And Hazmat, who's been through this, she's like, yeah, right now, but like, when I once met this dude, that things didn't really click, by the way, I just needed a minute to like catch my breath, and stuff like that, because like she's been through all this, she understands, she gets it, and so we cut back over to Aaron and Brielle, and so basically Aaron's like, so are you, and Brielle's like, I don't know, bi? Is that the term, I guess? I don't know. I'll figure out a label later. That was weird. Worried that it got weird. I freaked out a little bit. You get the gist, And so we cut back over to the other two. And she was like, you flinched? And Jen is like, oh, yeah, he was the love of my life. And I wasted so much time being stubborn. Like, it's not always perfect, And she was like, so there's a chance? And Jen is like, have you even talked to her since the incident? And she was like, oh my god, I am so goddamn stupid, and runs off to like go find Brielle, And so Aaron does the same thing, but actually pushes Brielle out of his room to go, go find Sheila so that they could talk and maybe, I don't know, figure something out, because this is the least confusing romantic subplot in this entire book. Boys, I'll get to you in another issue. We're talking about the Goyles. Right, Jake?
That's right.
Exactly. We're talking about the Goyles. We'll talk about the boys later.
For right now, the boys can sit in their corner.
Yeah, having their weird throuple thing going on. We'll figure that out later.
Justin,
I love you. Justin, I love you. That's all I gotta say. Anyways, so Brielle's like, is it too late? And Aaron's like, Brie, what are you doing here? Go talk to her now. And pushes her out of the room, right? So we cut over to the Midnight Chapel, which that's a sick ass name. That sounds like the name of a Netflix show that I'm thinking of, but I think that's a different name. I don't know. It's the one with like the priest. I don't know. Anyways, so Sheila is like walking around the chapel and she's like, Brie, are you in here? And so we see that creepy ass motherfucker from the last issue with the really long hair, you know, with the creepy voice box, and he's like, oh, they left you alone, didn't they? Well, I hope someday that you can forgive them for that. And he's being creepy. He's being a creep. I don't know who you are. Anyone who's actually read the book, if anyone could tell me who this guy is. I don't know. Someone said that he was related to Monet. I don't know if he's related to Monet, but if you don't know, Monet St. Croix, aka Penance, if you didn't know who I'm talking about. Fun fact. Anyways, so Brielle goes to where Jen was, and she's like, oh, have you seen Escapade? And Jen is like, she was just here. Something about finding you in the chapel. Why would she be in the chapel normally? Oh, I lied. That's a big ass lie. Besides the point. Anyways, so remember a few issues ago where we get introduced to the lady who lives at the like under the school? Do you remember her?
Yeah.
You remember her?
Yeah.
Okay, cool. Well, she's back. And she basically wakes Justin up, being like, and Justin's like, oh, hey, you're the lady of that magic crystal who lives in the basement, I think? And she's like, okay, it's time. Something's creeping. You know, jaws that bite, claws that scratch, fox in the hen house, wolf in the fold. Whatever. We'll figure it out what that means later. I'm not a riddles person. I don't know riddles. That's why I can never be the Riddler or hang out with the Riddler. That's just me personally. Anyways, so yeah, he's like, what? Okay, we'll figure out what that means later. Anyways, so Sheila's like, okay, who are you? You know? And this guy's like, oh, poor lost child. Did someone, did you show someone who you really are? Did they despise you for it? Like, I get the pain. That exquisite longing, you know? And he starts to become creepy with, like, his weird hand mouth things, you know? Like the ones from Vampire Hunter D, but instead of it being a full face and a personality, it's just hands with weird, creepy tongues. Yeah, not everyone gets to have cool parasite hand friends. I don't know. Anyways, so yeah, he's being creepy, you know, and he's basically gonna try to kidnap Sheila at this point. And she's like, okay, not sure what your deal is, but I'm not gonna take shit from an evil asshole, you know? I don't know what that word is, but not important. Okay, Jake, that's not important. The word is not important.
All right.
Anyways, so she's trying to run, and he's like, oh yeah, I'm not always here, just a hungry ghost like you. And she's like, what are you talking about, like me? And he's like, I've seen you, little one. Like, you know, you do all these things, you know, through this wretched world, you know. It's like, we are harpies, you and I, child, unlovable, blah, 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 blah. And she's like, okay, you have no idea. Like, shut the fuck up. And basically, he grabs her by the ankle, right? Which it's like, I don't know how old Sheila is, but to my knowledge, she's still technically in high school age, you know? Regardless if she dropped out or not, she's still technically high school age if she's around the same age as Brielle, you know? Basically, he grabs her by the ankle and starts to, like, drag her into his realm or wherever. Like, what the fuck, man? Anyways, so she's freaked out. He's being weird. And Brielle pulls him and is like, oh my god, Sheila, like, get your hands off of her, you fucking creep. And basically, like, stabs him in the back, you know. But he's not a vampire, so this is a little bit of a different story, even though he kind of acts like one. He kind of acts like a fucking bloodsucker over here. Anyway, so he basically just kidnapped Sheila. And so Brielle's like, Sheila, switch with me, you know, because that's her ability. And Sheila's like, yeah, I never, like, you have to stay safe. And so basically he tries, like, he's like, oh yeah, say goodbye to this life, Sheila Sexton, farewell to the happy fields, and have fun with the horrors. He doesn't actually say that, but I'm trying to make this guy a little bit less weird, but he's still really creepy. Okay, Jake, remember.
You can only do so much.
True. Remember, not Kristen. Jake, remember the rule, the lesson that we learned from this issue was not about taxes or ice slides. Is that stranger danger?
That's absolutely a lesson that we should all take with us.
That's actually a really good lesson. Realistic jokes. I think that's a really good one. Anyways, you know, so basically she tries to reach out for Brielle and vice versa, and that's how she went. Next issue tomorrow is called My Dinner Late. So see what happens then. Moment. Yeah, she literally got kidnapped. I'm gonna act like that thing. So I guess. Anyways, if you were curious what I think the age demographics of all of the students, so Noah and Norman around the same age, so they're like in their early teens, you know. Sheila and Briella around their like mid to late teens, like high school age, you know, they're mid-teens. While Justin and Aaron are like older teens, about to be like 20. Or I think Aaron is 20, but I don't remember. But they're around that age. They're like post high school, but still like young. Does that make sense, Jake?
Yeah.
Okay, that's how I thought about it. So yeah. Anyways, that's the end of the issue. Cryptid, you can come back. I don't remember what the next book was. What was the next book? Oh, Sentinels. Okay.
Yeah.
The next book. I still don't know who for a Sentinels, in my opinion.
Okay, so I'm back. All right, guys, we're moving on to the next one. I got this one, and we're talking about Sentinels #1. Okay, I see ways that this could actually work and make sense. I know people are like, okay, why are they making a Sentinels book? But the way I see it is, somebody had to have a good pitch in order for something so out of left field to come about, you know? So anyway, you kind of start off. I'll say this: the one drawback to this issue is that it is introducing like new people. When the book is called Sentinels, it's not the robots, right? This is kind of like a new version of Sentinels where they're all people. We already got a premise of this a couple of months ago. Pretty much all these people came out of a fallout from a different event in Marvel. You have one that came out of the fallout of Secret Empire, the other one from King in Black, the other one from World War Hulk, and another one from Doctor Strange, right? Pretty interesting that most of those events didn't really involve the mutants, yet they're going to be in charge of the Sentinels. There's an explanation I have in my mind, but I'll get to that later. Anyway, you kind of started off with them going to like the snowy regions, right? They're getting dropped off, and keep in mind, all these people, as far as I could tell, they're all normal people that just got enhanced through some technology, right? So they're here on assignment to capture a mutant, and this is being treated seriously because the person that they're looking to capture has a long kill sheet on their record, and that person just happened to be Omega Red. So you're like, oh shoot, you know, and he's treated like a beast in this issue. I mean, like for God's sakes, even in his little description box, it's like saying it's describing his power. He has life force absorption, you know. So yeah, you get grabbed by those tentacles. There's a good chance, yeah, you're dead, you know. So he ends up grabbing one of the Sentinels, and everybody's trying to fire at him. One guy, apparently, he has nanite armor as his weapon, so he uses part of the nanites in his arm to kickstart a car to go tackle what's his name, Omega Red. Another one, she's a gal who has the power to like rearrange metal around her, so she used it on a truck that kind of turned into a whole battle armor for her. She's basically coming in with a Hulkbuster like armor, right? So even though all this is going down, like Omega Red, he ain't no punk. Like he's a serious threat. He's putting up more than a fight. To the point where one of the other agents, goes and grabs him from behind and blows himself up. Yeah, because apparently his powers, he can blow himself up, but keep in mind he does take recoil damage from that. So it does hurt him a lot as well. So they were able to subdue Omega Red, but unfortunately the guy that Omega Red had captured with his ropes, yeah, it looks like he got infected with the techno-organic virus. It's like man,
like
it's
Fable.
like, yeah, but this one is like in his face, and he's just repeating these digits like 0111000. No, 01 matter. He's like he's like trying to talk, saying 01 what? He's telling his captain this, and the captain knows what he means. They end up shooting him in the head.
Oh, lovely.
Yeah, because apparently they kind of had a pact before that, like none of them want to go full robot. So if they have a choice between turning into a full Sentinel, yeah, they want yeah, bang to the head, So yeah, that was pretty graphic, pretty frightening. And then that's when you go back to like the person who's the head of this whole program. It's actually Bolivar Trask's son. I think his name is Larry Trask, right? He's the one who's bringing back the Sentinel program, but he does have a reason why. Now, keep in mind, Larry Trask is a mutant himself. All right.
Oh, we love irony.
Yep, irony. But he does have his reasoning for this. You have this one gal also beside him who's also a director here. She's all about like, yeah, we should be bringing back the robot Sentinels. And Larry's like, look, if we bring back those giant robots, all they'll be bringing us back is corpses. That's not how we're going to run things now. All right. So, yeah, you do end up kind of seeing Larry's what his motivation is. He was resurrected during the whole Krakoa era to kind of get a second lease on life, and his mutant power really is about seeing possible futures, right? And what he's trying to do right now is actually in a benefit to both humans and mutants, ironically. You see, there are horrible mutants. Let's not pretend there aren't. There are really bloodthirsty ones out there that could cause a lot of damage, not just killing. Exactly, which, like, not just like going on a slaughter spree on humans, but in doing so, that could cause ripple effects to people continuing to fear and hate mutants in general. So what he's trying to do is bring back the Sentinel program to kind of go after only the lethal of the lethal mutants, I mean, that's the case here when it opened up with them having to go capture Omega Red, I mean, can anybody argue against that?
I mean, right? Like when he was in X-Force, he wasn't awful, but he did kill Wild Child that one time, and I won't forgive him for that, honestly.
Yeah, true.
But that was like over 10. That was like way over 10 years ago. But I'm still not over it.
Yeah, and I'm sure he's killed plenty of people since then too, as well. So
I don't know. I don't read a lot of Omega Red, but I'll take their word for it.
Gotcha. So yeah, and yes, he does go on to this whole allegory about this one place, right? Think of two villages. They're being overrun with wolves. That is what's killing them constantly. That is what makes them fear going out, out of their houses, this and that. Okay, so what happens? They were able to band together and kill all the wolves, right? Yeah, happy ending. Up until you realize that they actually hate each other, the two neighboring villages, and rather than going after the wolves, then the villages now go at war with each other. So in retrospect, you kind of need the wolves in order to unite a community. I mean, who in the mutant community out there is saying, "Oh no, the Sentinels, bring them out"? No, it's like it's kind of a unified thought. Like all Sentinels are bad. If a Sentinel's around, I don't care if you're good or a bad guy, we gotta take them out. It kind of goes in that mentality. Jake, you want to give any thoughts of that sort of mentality, man?
Can you repeat the last part, please?
Okay, think of the wolves. They're terrorizing 2 villages. So what happens? They kill the wolves, but then like you kind of the 2 villages end up fighting each other over time. So you're like, you need the wolves to kind of unite 2 groups of people, a whole community, basically.
Yeah, we all come together. We all save the world, huh? No problem.
Yeah, pretty much. And again, like I don't know if you were listening to the earlier part. This new version of Sentinels are about going after the most dangerous mutants because hey, there are deadly mutants out there.
No,
They don't just kill people, but they'll also be furthering the hatred and fear on mutants in general if they're left to be out there unchecked.
No, honestly, like this is what kind of the mutant community need. I always said like the mutants need more than just like saying that like we want equality. Like there needs to be things to make sure that like humans are safe, and that makes them feel safer around mutants. So having a team that's like we're gonna go hunt down the actually dangerous mutants, so you can feel safe around like the normal mutants, like the ones that are like cool and chill. That's kind of required in a society like this. So good on them.
And who else better than to lead that program than an actual mutant?
Right.
And also, yeah.
I would argue have some humans on the team too, but you know what? If it's working, it's working.
Yeah, they have humans on the team, and he has a board to answer to, So,
okay. Cool.
And another thing, the thing about these people, right, that are on this new Sentinel program, let me just read their names. They're Lockstep, Sawtooth, Shellback, and Vivod. Yeah, weird name. But again, these are people who had direct fallouts or had their lives altered in previous Marvel events like Secret Empire or King in Black or World War Hulk, right? You notice that they don't really have any fallout from mutant events. So in my head canon, I'm like thinking maybe Larry Trask specifically assigned people in the Sentinel program that don't have a grudge against mutants. They're just seeing that these targets are threats to the world or event starters. So I mean that's another way to go about it. The people who are behind Capture Mutants don't hold grudge against mutants. Okay. So yeah, you cut back to the 4 agents. Kind of dealing with the loss of one of their fellow comrades, and as fast as that guy was killed, they bring in another person to replace him. So you're like, what sort of motivation is that? And there does end up being like a little bit of an escape attempt from Omega Red, thanks to Blob, who was also in the jail facility too. And you kind of see like this new person get right into action. Omega Red pins her to the wall. He's about ready to kill her, but then somehow she's like absorbing energy around them, causing ice to form, and apparently that's enough to have her shoot out like an atomic Godzilla like beam from her mouth at Omega Red, and that takes him out. So yeah, that's pretty much how the issue ends. Well, except the fact that she actually sees an image of Onslaught coming up, so maybe she's here as a fallout from the whole Onslaught event. And you do see like a cover for the next issue. The next issue, they're going after what's his name, Sebastian Shaw. Another mutant who's proven to be a bit of a threat to society.
I get it. I also think Sebastian Shaw is annoying.
Yeah. So
Sorry, I was in the
I mean,
bathroom.
no, all good, man. Which, how do you feel about the justification behind this task force here?
So okay, let me just put this down so I realize, because I was gone for most of this book, like I said
Yep.
back. So
Yep.
these human sentinel beings, right, give or
Yeah.
take, they are tasked to hunt down the really bad, shitty mutants. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
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 So I got that
Because
right?
Yeah.
yes.
The gist. I could see it, but at the same time, I think like the branding is not there.
It is kind of weird.
It is a
Like,
bit of an
where is their
obstacle.
PR? Where is HR and PR?
Right.
Yeah, but another thing to keep into account, which none of these people have a specific grudge against mutants. Like they're all fallouts from events that really didn't have anything to do with mutants. They're just seeing these people at these targets as like threats, like as event starters, basically.
But it's like it's like calling them the Holocausters. It's like you know what I mean?
It's kind of weird. It is really weird.
What would you guys rather call it then?
I get the idea. It's just like, damn.
You know what I think would be funny? If they called themselves Task Force X.
There you go.
Does that make a little bit more sense?
I guess that would be true, but then you have to also factor in that these are normal people. They don't have powers; they just have augmentation with techno availability.
I mean, technically, they're mutates. They're not mutants.
Mutates.
There is a difference.
Mutates. Yeah. Well, also that's kind of like another thing that was a negative in this book, right? Again, you're introducing like all these characters, but you kind of don't. You kind of need a wiki article on them. The only reason I know about some of them being fallouts from previous events is because of articles and past topics we talked about. I mean, the guy who could blow himself up but get hurt. Yeah, apparently his body became paralyzed during the whole World War Hulk event when Hulk, the Hulk hit him. Again, he was a soldier, and just one strike from the Hulk was enough to cripple his body. Or even the new lady who just joined the task force, right? She was piloting a helicopter, working for I don't know the government or whatever, until one of the symbiote dragons, bit into it, and she wound up in a coma. Losing years of her life because of it. You kind of need to brush up on your knowledge beforehand on news articles before you can actually try to piece together who does what are their motivations, what are their fallouts from, and also keep in mind this is only a 5-issue miniseries, so you're not going to have enough time for any real character to actually breathe in with the audience. So it's I thought it had a good premise.
Yeah, it's a solid premise. And like I said, in my ongoing complaint with X-Men has been just not having good ways to further the human mutant relations beyond like the arguing. But I think
besides like one coupling and one adoption.
Right. So I think having a group like this that's again they're only hunting down the worst of the worst. That's a huge step for mutants.
Yeah.
So I think it's a good victory for them. So they should have
Austin saying this should have been a branch of Weapon Plus. You know what? Go for that. Yeah. I would have liked that, But I guess they wanted the shock value of Sentinels of all titles to have its own book, So yeah. I mean decent book. So alright then. Hold on a sec. Which is the next book? Oh,
it's Jake.
It's mine.
Okay. Hold on a sec.
But against all odds, we are past. We did it. I just finished the Morbazak arc. Okay, we are almost out of the montage, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome back to Bionicle, City of Legends. Yeah. So the last part of this arc, the Morzabak arc, which again is just a montage in the movie. So I just got to add that there's a whole DLC quest line. Basically where we left off, the Toa Metru were continuing to find the 6 great discs, because according to the vision that Vakama had, these great discs will be able to defeat the Morzabak, and this is a creature that lives under Metro Nui that is slowly taking it over from the inside. So
you want me to post that picture? You want me to post that picture up, Jake?
Oh, you can? I didn't think you could. I didn't really.
I could try. Just give me like 2 minutes to do that.
Okay. Yeah. So like the Toa have so the Toa have continued their quest. Again, a lot of great character dynamics here. I think all the Toa have the Toa pairings that we've seen have great chemistry together. I like, again, the pairing of Vakama and Anua, which is like something I never got to see in the movies. I really like to see them even further fleshed out in the chapters that I've come to read. I was actually disappointed in Nokama and Matau's pairing chapter, mainly because they didn't really do much. I think with Nuju and Anua, and with Nuju and Anua and Vakama and Vakama and Anua, you really got to see different sides of these characters and how they bounce off of each other, what works about them and what doesn't. But Nakama and Matau, despite being polar opposites in terms of characters, they didn't really have much bouncing off. I mean, their dialogue's fine. It's just, just kind of underwhelming. They're the one pairing I really wanted to see work, but it is what it is. Mm-hmm. But after finally coming together, the Toa Metru now have all 6 great discs, and after some and so when they come together, the first thing they ask is like, "Okay, Vakama, well, this was your vision, so what now?" And Vakama's like, "Oh, my vision, I don't know." Everyone's like, "Vakama, we nearly got ourselves killed looking for these discs. What do you mean we don't know?" He's like, "My vision only said that we needed to get them, not what we do with them." And everyone's getting mad. And Nakama's like, "All right, guys, how about we just like put together what we know and go from there?" This leads the Toa Metru to find out to realize that Morzabak loves hot areas and hates colder regions, which means the most likely place for the King Root to be is in Ta Metru, basically Fire City. The Toa go on their quest there, and we have some really cool sequences too. While they're trying to sneak up on Morzabak, the King Root, they get attacked by seeds of the Morzabak vines. We have a really cool sequence as well when the vines are wrapping around the Toa. Nuju, who's known for planning ahead, he knows they're not going to escape right away. So what he does is he holds his breath in and puffs out his chest. So when the vines wrap around him, he exhales, and his body is now thinner than the vine, so he's able to wiggle out and then like free the other Toa. And I was like, oh, that's really cool. I like that he would have that ability of foresight to know to do that. It was like a cool showing of his, future.
Flip it to a slim Toa.
Yeah. And so we also had we had a Kaida transformation. I kind of failed to go over these. In Bionicle lore, this is never brought up in the movies, but in the books, Toa can fuse together to create Kaida forms. And Matoran can do this too, but they're just weaker. So the Matoran that go with the Toa, we get to see them form into a Kaida, much to the surprise of the Toa, who I don't think I've ever seen it before. And they're able to fend off more vines while the Toa go in and fight the Morzabak. And this is kind of where we get the revelation too that the Morzabak, who you can show on screen now, by the way, the King Root is he is actually can talk. This right here. It is a sentient plant with its own thoughts and feelings, and all it wants to do is harvest all of Metro Nui for itself. And so the Toa are kind of having a bit of a trouble with this. I would say for this fight, it's not bad. It's just not as intense as the Toa Mata versus the Toa Nuva versus the Borok Cow was such an intense fight that like this just doesn't live up to that fight. But it is entertaining. I did like how the Toa were struggling because of their inexperience. They're not used to using elemental powers, and they have been burning them up, trying to keep themselves like cool in the furnaces and all that. So like they weren't used to really rationing out their powers and figuring out what was their limit. So when they come up against this creature, they're just kind of spamming powers, and they kind of run out of energy very quickly. But Vakama, who's supposed to be leading this operation, even though no one wants him to be leader, but Nokama, who I swear Nokama has a crush on Vakama. I know the author said that Bionicles can't have crushes on each other because like the robots, but like, listen, if you read it like I read it, she clearly likes him for some reason. But but Vakama comes up with the plan of like trying to trick the Morzabak who sees them fighting, so they fake surrender or they fake give up, which confuses Morzabak enough for the Toa to finally use the Great Disc and combine it into a giant energy spear and shoot it directly at the Morzabak. And he's not able to fight it off well enough, so he winds up getting killed. And the Toa have saved the city, finally proven themselves worthy to be Toa heroes, or so they hope. So as far as like this section of the story, like I said, I think the Morzabak arc, it's a very fun read. I just think that compared to the villains we had in the past, like you think back to like the Toa Mato when they fought Makuta for the first time. Or when I think back to like when they upgrade to the Toa Nuva and they fought the Borecal, or even Takanova versus Makuta, which was a very personal battle. I just think this one is the least interesting final battle that I've seen in the Bionicle books. And while the Morzabak is cool, I don't think really a lot is done with him to make him interesting. Perhaps later on they'll flesh this character out. It's just like, it's fun. It is a good first arc for the Toa Metru and to get to know their personalities and their characters. And they, like I said, they all shine with their own thoughts and feelings and way they communicate. The author continues to do such a good job with the characters having their own voices, and some of the world building as well. Again, continues to be great. I did like how they explained how the Matoran, like they don't go into detail about this, but just the passing mention of it. Matoran, because the Bionicles they aren't humans, so they don't have like families, they don't have like brothers and sisters. So what I liked about it was they talked about how like Matoran don't live when they want to live with each other. You're living with your coworkers. Krypton, imagine you're working at your job. Instead of going home to your family, you go home to like your coworker. Basically that's like, like how they will see at home. That's basically how they live, because those are the only people that they have friends with. Sometimes.
The only time you would do something like that, I guess, if you would take a long trip out, I guess,
Right.
So, I mean, I've had those situations. I've had those situations before, so yeah.
Yeah. And we so if it's not your coworkers, you're living with your friends, but it's just that. We also had some cool scenes with the Vaki as well. The Vaki are going to continuously become a problem as the series goes on, but just for a reminder, the Vaki are the secret police of the Metro Nui. They deal with all the legal matters and all that, but they're kind of scary and they're more like visceral than the Toa would be. Where the Toa are heroes, the Vaki are specifically like enforcers of the law. So we got a couple of action sequences with them and getting to know their like personal habits and all that. We even had we even got some more Rahi introductions, like the Tunneler. There was just so much here that there was a lot to appreciate. And again, I think the strongest aspect of the book is just seeing this world and how the Toa get to see other cultures on their island that they never got to experience before and see it through a fresh new perspective. Like I said, I still highly recommend this book. I am on chapter, let me see. What chapter was this? I made it to chapter 25 out of like 52. So I got a long way to go, but we are nearing the movie part. So hopefully when I get there, I can just speed through it because I already know how the movie goes. So
also, trust, you're lucky I'm not talking about Elf Quest right now.
I guess I am. But Bionicle City of Legends, you can read it all on Crosswire Geeks, on the Biological Chronicles section, and we are on. This is book 4, so have a fun read. So,
gotcha. But all right then, I guess to that we're moving on to the next topic of the night, audience. All right, which
You want me to start this out?
Yep. Go ahead.
I was gonna give you the floor, but I'll go first. Anyways, we're talking about the Ultimates Volume 2, Issue 5. I feel like we need to preface that it's Volume 2 because it's a different book, different universe. You guys understand that?
Mm-hmm.
Jake, I don't think you understand that. Do you understand
that? I think I got the idea.
Okay, cool. So, for people who don't know, this is the whole different Ultimate universe. So, this is not going to be the shit one from the 2000s. This is actually the good one from 2024. I feel like we can agree on that, right? This universe is actually way better.
Yeah. Well, I liked Ultimate Spider-Man, but other than that, I get you.
We're not getting into it, okay? Anyways. Anywhoosies, so I'm just gonna cut straight to the chase. We're on a secret Stark satellite. Okay, cool, I guess. Anyways, so Tony, I think he goes by Iron Lad in this book. I've been kind of reading this book, you know. He's like, oh yeah, Steve, we got a problem. So 5 months ago, like this Roxxon pipeline got catastrophically compromised, you know. So yeah, that happened. And then 4 months ago, a Roxxon worker camp, was laid to waste in the night, mostly just minor injuries. It's fine, whatever. And 1 month ago, Roxxon refinery melted to slag, whatever the hell that means. I don't know what that means, but regardless. Anyways, yeah, so workers describe seeing arrows flying through the air just before the explosions. And Steve is like, all that with arrows? I'm impressed. I mean, I'm impressed too, honestly. I don't know how to shoot an arrow for shit. I feel like everyone here can also agree on that. I don't know.
I could shoot an arrow.
Now I know. Cool. I don't usually shoot things, okay? I'm just gonna be 100% honest because I don't need a reason to. Anyways, so Tony's like, oh yeah, not arrows. They're like cutting edge. Like, these are like crazy arrows, you know? They have all the cool high-tech shit. It's slice. Anyways, so he's like, look, Steve, I took a shot. The man who was supposed to be Hawkeye, rejected our offer and kind of threw it in the trash, and some random passerby picked it up. And this panel of Steve, I don't know why, and I feel like I'm not the only one, but I might be going crazy. He looks like he has a bruise on his face. Did he get punched in a recent issue, or is that just like the coloring? Am I going crazy?
From the last time I read Ultimates, which was issue 2, Steve wasn't looking that good either. I'm glad I'm not the only one who noticed that. So
Austin, answer our call.
Austin, we need you here, man. I can't be the only one. Can't be the only ones fighting here. Okay, we need a third person to fight with us. Anyways, regardless. So Steve is like, okay, Tony, I'm not really seeing the problem. This is what we wanted, Like, citizens are taking up arms, like, right now. Like, I get it. Like, I understand, And Tony's like, okay, between running operations, the Gamma Island reclamation, and repairing the Human Torch, like, I've been busy as all shit. Like, I finally had a chance to run this person's numbers, and it does not look good. Their heroism score was at the bottom 10th percentile, or whatever the hell that was. I don't know words, apparently. And on the villain potential index, which, come on, Tony, you're really putting them in the freaking villain index? Like, they have valid reasons for why they do things. But regardless. So Steve, Steve being actually kind of reasonable here, he's like, okay, some things aren't captured by numbers. Like, I thought you learned that after literally everything that's been happening. Like I said, I've been kind of skimming through this book, but from what I know, yeah. And Tony's like, that's exactly why we have to get these weapons back. I can't be responsible for any more unnecessary death. I can't do it anymore. Like, my mental health is already in the shitter because of it. Anyway, so Steve is like, we're talking about arrows, Tony. Like, what are you talking about? And Tony's like, yeah, Steve, arrows that can follow a target for 40 miles, Like, it can freaking blow up shit. And I don't know what you want from it. Which, that's exactly what happened. Literally, high-tech, cool arrows. I don't know what you want from it. Right, Cryptid? They're literally high-tech arrows that can fuck shit up.
Yeah, pretty much anything you think of a trick arrow can do is what these arrows can do.
Exactly. Anyways, so Tony's like, okay, please, Steve, like, America is on its mission in Eurasia. which America doesn't technically exist in this universe anymore, but we don't have to get into that today.
No, he's referring to America Chavez.
Oh.
Yeah.
Well, I'm stupid. It's fine.
To be fair to you,
I'm still not wrong. Not wrong.
To be fair to you, that was like the whole joke of the first one. They kept talking about America, and then they were like, "Oh no, we meant Chavez the whole time." Yeah, that was like,
no, we're talking about the girl.
Right.
Yeah, Captain America's going there saying like, "Let's go save America," and then you spend the whole issue trashing the country, and then saying, "Oh, you guys thought they were here to save the country? No, they're just here to save Chavez."
No, we're talking about the girl. We're not talking about the nation state that doesn't exist anymore because of evil Reed Richards, which we're not going to get into evil Reed Richards because I know that Jake's going to go on a tirade, so we're not dealing with that right now. That's he's the reason for Marvel Zombies. Did you know that? Reed Richards in 1610? Besides the point. I'm getting off track.
Yeah.
Anyways, so Tony's like, oh yeah, America's in Eurasia. How are you going to convince Colossus, Magic, and Omega Red to fuck off? I don't know, but she could find a way, I guess. Giant Man and Wasp, they're following a lead on another trapped hero, which we'll probably figure out later. We don't even know where Thor and Sif is. Like, She-Hulk will only leave her island for direct strikes, and don't get me started on Doom. Like, please, I need your help. Like, I took a shot, and I took the shot, and I missed. And Steve is like, okay, I'll take care of it. So, yeah. I just want to preface this before I go into the whole story, like the rest of the story, is that the character that I'm about to be talking about is Two-Spirit and uses they, them pronouns. And do not ask me to explain what Two-Spirit is. I am underqualified for that. I'm probably one of the whitest people on this entire podcast. Just letting you know that. All you need to know is that it's not indigenous non-binary, okay? It's a lot more than that. Google is free. You can go Google it later. I'm not your encyclopedia. Just letting you know. If we're talking about Western terms, sure, I could figure that out. Not touching this. I don't want to get shit on Twitter, okay?
Yep.
I'm just going to preface that now. They use they, them pronouns. Got it?
Yeah.
Everyone got it? Cool. Austin, where the hell are you? Austin, get your brick wall ass in here right now so we can talk about this book. Please. Anyways, so we cut over to the Roxxon Refinery 15, about a mile and a half away from the Missouri River. I feel like we need that context. And so Steve pulls up, and we see this person holding, like, about to shoot an arrow at Steve. And he's like, so they sent the cowboy, huh? With, like, a cool repulsor arrow, which it looks pretty cool. It's, like, nice and slick and, all that jazz. Anyways, so Steve is like, Charlie Ramsey, like, you know why I'm here? And they're like, oh, yeah, you're one of those ultimates. I don't know, like, to blow up a school or something. And Steve is like, I think you know that we don't really do that, but I think that's more your thing. And I'm just like, you know what? Fair enough, honestly. Anyways, so Charlie is like, draw a cowboy, and shoots the arrow. And Steve is like, I'm a captain, actually. I'm Captain America, before he could finish that. And Charlie's like, nah, you're a cowboy, a Gary Cooper looking motherfucker. And I'm the Indian. Which I should probably preface that he's saying this. I'm just repeating what he's saying. Yeah. I don't actually call native people Indians unless they're from India. But besides the point.
They're just referencing the whole cowboy versus Indian trope.
From a lot of old Western movies. I feel like we should preface that now. Yeah. Okay. Anyways, so Charlie's like, you know what that makes us? And then the arrow explodes because, high-tech arrows. And Steve, I don't know if he's ever seen an old cowboy movie, but I'm not going to put that off the table that he has or has not. But he's like, sure, I get the reference, because, he was frozen in ice, I'm assuming, like how it was in 616, I think.
Yeah, what it was is like, yes, he did get frozen and this and that, but it was the Maker who prevented him from getting released or found by the Avengers.
Yeah, that. Also, in conclusion, fuck you, Reed Richards, I think, but we can all agree on that. But besides the point. So basically, Charlie reaches for another arrow, and they're like, yeah, I know all about cowboys. My dad used to love those old movies. I've seen all of them, and they were all the same. Cowboys killing Indians, and everyone cheers. and basically uses their sonic arrow, like the sonic quote unquote screamer arrow, and basically just like it screeches. I don't know what you want from me. It screeches. You know, and Charlie is like, yeah, but I love them too. It's kind of fucked up, like, but I love these movies too, you know? I get it, fair enough. And Steve is like, okay, stop. I did not come to fight you. I just need those weapons back. They're dangerous, and you can't be older than 16. We don't actually know how old Charlie is, you know? But
they're on the young side.
That's all we know. We are not 100% sure. We can't 100% confirm until we actually get a confirmation. So Charlie's like, how old were you when you put on that suit and took a stand? And Steve is like, what do you know about this suit or what it stands for? And Charlie, you know, fighting for their own purposes, you know, which are completely valid purposes in my personal opinion. I think that's why I was so down to read this book. Anyways, besides the point. So Charlie revs up another arrow and is like, different things, I guess, for you and me. And they're like, so what? You're just gonna get to be hero? Tony Stark gets to be hero? The guy who threw all this stuff away, he gets to be hero, but me? I don't meet the criteria. Did I failed a test or something? Like, we always fail a test. Like, the math never works out in our favor. Which, that's a dig on not only Tony Stark low-key because of what happened earlier, but that was also a dig at a lot of things that happen to native communities because of colonizing forces. Because I actually remember to pick up a freaking history book every once in a while. Unlike some people who are going to be making videos about this specific issue, it's like, pick up a goddamn history book that isn't written by a white person. I feel like I need to preface that now. Anyways, so they're like, you know what they do? These Roxxon energy partner motherfuckers, and loads up a cluster bomb arrow, which looks pretty fucking cool. And they're like, they do whatever they want, which is true. Roxxon does do whatever they want. Am I wrong?
Who? Roxxon?
Oh,
yeah.
Roxxon, yeah. It exists in this universe.
They kind of just do whatever they want, and it just kind of fucks over everyone.
I played Miles Morales. I know the deal.
Yeah.
Fair enough, I guess. Anyways, they shoot the arrow. It goes kaboom, boom, 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 boom. You know, because it's a cluster bomb. I feel like I should preface that. Anyways, so they rev up 3 more arrows: the knockout gas arrow, the freeze arrow, and the acid arrow.
Hello?
You know? Huh?
Yeah, Jake, we can hear you. Jake.
Oh, you guys just went missing for a second. I'm fine. Yeah, go continue.
You good?
Okay.
Can you hear me?
Yeah, I'm good. Yeah, I can hear you. Yeah.
Okay. So, like I said, Charlie revs up 3 more arrows, and they're like, oh yeah, they flood our plains, they dig up our sacred grounds, they foul the water, like they build these refineries and pipelines, like the Great Black Snake in our stories. Like they say, well, end everything. They will take the whole world hostage, and when we protest and when we stand up, they kill us and throw us in jail and force us from our land, which is true from back then and now, because native communities have always been fucked over by the governments, you know, which I'm so sorry, y'all. Like, y'all don't deserve that shit, you know. But like, yeah, shoots all 3 other arrows, and Steve dodges all the arrows because, you know, duh. And so Charlie's like, yeah, and so we have to fight. We have to, which is like fair, valid. Honestly, I get it. If I was in their shoes, I would do the same fucking thing, you know? And they're like, Roxxon, the North American Union, the United States of America, it's all the same. It's all the same shit. Cowboys and Indians, which is kind of true, honestly, if you really think about it. And Steve is like, trust me, those weapons, this life it's a burden. You don't have to take it on. And Charlie's like, I do. I had a vision. It was meant for me. And causes an inertial canceling arrow, which goes after the shield and just like flats on the ground. I don't know if you heard the thump, but you could probably figure it out what I was trying to do. Anyways, so Charlie is like, I saw the boy in the light. I heard what he said. Protect the innocent, save lives, inspire the citizens of the world to be their best selves. Like, I had the vision. And Steve is like, that was just Tony. He was talking to someone else, a potential hero, before he was named the hero. And Charlie's like, yeah, I know. Jeebus. Like, and basically, they explain that they're from the Lakota Nation, you know, like one band of the Lakota Nation. I feel like I should mention that. And basically, they're like, my government name is Charlie Ramsey, but my true name is Charlie Hawkeyes, and basically shoots an industrial taser arrow. And they're like, you see, it was meant for me, and basically is able to shoot Steve in the back, which I will admit that is kind of a low blow, but at the same time, I get it. You know, I wouldn't, if I was Charlie in this situation, I wouldn't trust the Flag character. You know, I don't know. A lot of Flag characters aren't usually the best people. I'm not saying Steve is a bad person unless you count certain universes that I don't want to get into today. But, like, a lot of them are not the greatest of people. I feel like we can all agree on that. But regardless, so Charlie's like, oh yeah, you can't take it. I won't let you. And basically shoots more arrows, you know. And they're like, oh, the ones who made this world, they didn't make it for people like me. They never do. So you see the movies, an old movie or a vision or even a symbol, and even though it wasn't made for you, you make it yours anyways. Because if you don't, who knows what's gonna fucking happen. And I'm not stupid. I've seen Star Wars. I know it wasn't a spirit or anything. I know it was just some arrogant kid, but it was my vision, so I decided that it was, you know. And summons a hunter-killer arrow, which is really fucking cool and low-key kind of old school looking at the same time, if you really think about it. And no, I don't need the Venom War Jeff comic ad. Jeebus. I'll get into comics and ads later. Not important to the story.
Oh no, we lost Witch. Okay, hold on a sec. Okay.
Hey, I'm back.
Yep.
Like I said, I was going to get into ads and comics later.
Yep. I was just about to say the last thing you said before you cut out was Jeff ad. So, yeah.
You could probably figure out what I was saying, right?
Yep.
Did you guys hear everything I was saying up to that point?
Yeah, no, everything.
Yeah.
Okay,
Yep.
okay. Just wanted to double check, okay? I don't know. I just don't like how Marvel sprinkles all their ads throughout the book and not just leave them at the end. That's what I wanted to say. That's all I wanted to say. I think it's kind of annoying. But besides the point, besties. Anyways, so Steve is able to grab the arrow and snaps it in half, you know?
Mm-hmm.
And Steve is like, enough, you know? Basically is able to thunk Charlie in the head with the shield because that's what Steve does sometimes, you know? Mm. And Charlie, before getting thunked in the head, was like, I don't care if I had to dig my destiny out of a dumpster. It is still mine. I mean, you literally did take the old Hawkeye costume and made it your own and made it better. I think we can agree, right? They made the old Hawkeye suit look better and fit them better, I guess you could say. Mm-hmm. I think we can agree on that.
Yeah,
cool design.
Cool. Anyways, so basically Charlie, after getting thunked in the head, just kind of falls to the ground, but not too hard or anything. They're still conscious and everything. And they're like, just like the movies, huh? Cowboy win, Indian dies, everyone cheers. And Steve basically offers his hand to bring to lift them up, you know, and is like, no one's dying, and that's not cheering. Get up and use those eyes, you know. And basically, a whole bunch of Roxxon people pull up because that's what they do. They hire a whole bunch of mercenaries to fuck shit up, like they always do. Am I right or am I right?
I think you're right.
Cool. Anyway, Steve was like to tell you dangerous Roxxon crew coming to erase both of us, a couple of carpet stains. You know, basically they're just mercenaries to fuck shit up, you know? And Charlie's like, there's 1,000 of them. And Steve is like, someone once told me I was gonna make a dumb song reference, but we're not doing that. Anyways, so Steve is like, someone once told me that with proper training, an operator could stop a small army with those weapons that you're holding. And so we cut over to Charlie and Steve fighting all of the Roxxon mercenaries. basically by themselves, which honestly, we stand. We love that.
Mm-hmm.
And so Steve is like, so I hope you've been practicing. And guess what? They fucked their shit up because of course they were gonna do that. Anyways, so Steve is like, not bad, Hawkeye. Like, we should get out of here. More will be coming. And Charlie is like, what about our fight? Don't you want your arrows back? And Steve's like, yeah, no, I didn't want the actual arrows. I just wanted to be sure before I told Iron Lad. And Charlie's like, what are you going to tell him? And Steve is like, that he didn't miss. And so basically, the issue almost, like the main part of the story ends up with those two walking away from all the fuck shit that happened. And was like, hey, so is your spirit name really Charlie Hawkeyes? And, you know, I think that, like, they were definitely making a joke there because that happens a lot, I guess you could say. I've seen enough, like, jokes and, like, funny skit videos about this online. So, basically, Charlie's like, you white people will believe anything. And so, that's where the main issue ends. We just see Charlie looking awesome, by the way. I love Charlie's design. I love Charlie as a character. I think they're really awesome, but that's just me personally. Mm-hmm. Anyways, so basically we cut to a narration bubble, kind of being like, unbelievable, what are we gonna do about this? And so we see that we cut to these two people, you know, and one of them is like, okay, I didn't mind so much that they broke the neck of the solid gold ship. In fact, I thought it was quite funny. But now they're affecting my bottom line, Banner, and I can't have that. Roxxon is a vital part of my goddamn portfolio. And so we see Banner, which I could assume is Banner, put his giant-ass hands on his shoulders and is like, calm down, DaCosta. You agreed to defer to me like this. Like, do you doubt my strong and steady hand? And DaCosta, who I'm assuming is Roberto DaCosta, also known as Sunspot, if anyone was curious. I don't think it was any other DaCosta in this case, but I just feel like I should preface that.
Yeah.
He does not look like Sunspot, but that's because they never know how to draw Sunspot. Anyways. So Banner is like, I studied these ultimates, you know, like their strengths, their weaknesses, you know, they're just harmonious ideas, you know. They utilize advanced dark tech, you know, like their true identities are closely held secrets. If we crush 2 or 3, maybe we can get the others out of the shadows. Like the Ultimates operate as an insurgency. You can't destroy the insurgency piece by piece. So DaCosta's like, what do you propose? And Banner's like, very simple. I'm going to kill them all at once. 13 months remaining. That's where it is. Honestly, if I can give my take on this before Cryptid gives his take, unless you want to give yours first, I don't really care.
No, go ahead, Witch. Go ahead.
So I think, personally, Charlie's like reasoning for why they're doing what they're doing and for the subsequent whole fight was completely reasonable on their point, especially if you actually read the dialogue and you don't actually like just look at the pretty pictures, which I get it. They are really pretty pictures. I mean, that's what I do when I first read books, like comics. I look at the pretty pictures and then I fully read it. Unless like I'm in a rush and I have to actually read it. But besides the point, like knowing how fucked over indigenous people have been dealing with for God knows how long, even nowadays. Like an example is that here in Arizona, like they're trying to like drive through uranium through native land, and they're like, fuck no. And also the amount of pipelines that are going to be put under sacred land, because I feel like we have to acknowledge we're on indigenous owned land. Like, I feel like we need to acknowledge that. Like, most of the people here are not actually from here. I feel like we can all say that. If you know, you know. Like, and also, going back to it, yeah, no, like, Charlie's people has definitely been fucked over. And personally, I think it's pretty pro-American that they're calling out all the injustices that's happened to not only to their people, but just in general. And I think that's why I've been like kind of reading it, you know, and not have actually dropped it, because I like the social commentary. And I'm actually kind of excited to see how Charlie interacts with the rest of the team, which is kind of just like whatever. And what was her name? She-Hulk. I forgot what her actual name was, but I think that Charlie and She-Hulk in this story would probably get along the best, in my opinion. Maybe with time they would probably like be more chummy with Steve, you know, even though like Steve was pretty chill kind of for the most part, you know. Like this wasn't just like a full-on petty fight. Even though like some elements were kind of petty, but honestly, Charlie's reasonings for why they wanted to do what they were doing is really reasonable in my opinion. And honestly, I don't care what Tony says. I think Charlie could be a great hero. And honestly, I think they're a really cool character. And obviously, and having like an indigenous like two-spirit hero be on the main team is fucking cool as shit. That's just me personally. I'm just gonna give it to Krypton now before I keep going on this rant for another 30 minutes. I talk about nonsense, so I'm gonna give it to you now.
Okay. All right. Here are my thoughts. Coming into this book, I kind of already expected how this interaction was going to be between Captain America and this version of Hawkeye, because it's not a coincidence that out of all the Ultimates, Dennis Camp specifically decided to have Steve be the one to go interact with this version of Hawkeye, because all the jabs Hawkeye was making at Steve, it would not have worked if you brought in America Chavez to go.
It wouldn't. I agree.
Interact. Yeah. So, yeah. Audience, I've been very critical on Dennis Camp specifically on that issue 2, right? Like, you know, okay, there's social commentaries being made, right? Certain atrocities being brought up, but the thing is, this is being made on a country that doesn't exist in this universe. History has been changed, like as far back as the 40s,
because of Evil Reed Richards.
Yes, that son of a bitch.
Yeah, yeah. So it is kind of weird that you're making like if you want to say these are present day social commentaries on the country into this alternate history take on the Ultimates where America doesn't exist. Like, I'll go back to issue 2 again. Like, Captain America comes out and he's like horrified. Oh my God, the Hiroshima bomb. Oh my God, JFK got assassinated. Oh my God, there are people out there in Punisher shirts. And I'm like, wait, I thought this was all alternate history. So yeah, that really didn't sit well with me. This one though, one thing that kind of really upset me a lot, right, was literally the first page. It had two quotes. Tony? No, it's literally the first page. It's 2 quotes.
Okay. I didn't really read that because I didn't. I just wanted to get straight to the story.
I'm going to read it.
Okay, cool.
The first quote. Upon suffering beyond suffering, the Red Nation shall rise again, and it shall be a blessing for a sick world, a world filled with broken promises, selfishness, and separation, a world longing for light again. I see a time of 7 generations when all the colors of mankind will gather under the sacred tree of life, and the whole earth will become one circle again. That was by Crazy Horse. The next one.
I don't see what's wrong with that quote. I think it was a
quote.
Was it the second quote that pissed you off? I got pissed off.
Yeah. The first quote. If I was there left alone, I would have had no problems. Like, okay, yeah, Crazy Horse was a very big figure, you know, like. And by the end of that quote is like about having everybody come together, you know, after great suffering. It's the second quote that really just made me realize, Dennis Camp, I can see you have some sort of anti-American bias coming in. The second quote.
In my opinion, real quick, before you read it, I don't think it was actually necessary to have the second quote.
Thank you! Yes!
Now that, like, when I first read it, I was just kind of like, okay, but, like, I didn't read the issue yet, but then rereading it, I'm just like, did this quote have to be here?
That's why I wanted to bring up. Okay, let me read the quote.
Okay, go ahead.
I don't go so far as to think that the only good Indian is the dead Indian, but I believe 9 out of every 10 are. and I shouldn't like to inquire too closely into the case of the 10th. Theodore, that was stated by Theodore Teddy Roosevelt.
You know what would have made this?
The 26th president of the United States. Yeah, they made sure to say he was a president in this quote.
You know what? You know what would have made it worse?
Mm-hmm.
If they would have done an Andrew Jackson quote instead of a Teddy Roosevelt quote.
Yeah.
I think that would have made it worse.
I know. So like
he hated the natives. Like he hated them.
Yeah, that's true. But like, Teddy Roosevelt is often seen as like a one of the more badass of the presidents in history. I mean, heck, you look at his upbringing. Dude was the weak, scrawny kid growing up with asthma. Yeah, it kind of reminds me of a certain other character in Marvel Comics.
But at the same time, he still did screw over a lot of people. But besides the point.
But yeah,
I just don't think this was necessary. This part of the quote.
Yeah, that's what I wanted to bring up. Like, and then reading this whole issue, why did you need that second quote?
Yeah, reading the proper, I don't think it was really fully necessary.
That's why to me, I'm seeing this as Dennis Camp bringing his anti-American sentiments into this book, which is really weird since it's going to be up to him to write the country coming back, even though it kind of feels like he has a gripe and considers the country disgusting. So,
well, I wouldn't really consider the writer anti-American, because I am kind of curious on how they're gonna actually like I guess create a new America. Does that make sense? Because how do I put this? I'm not the most articulated with my words. If anyone was actually curious, but like I personally think that we could have an America or have a world that's similar to what the first quote was, in my personal opinion. Like, keep in mind, like a whole bunch of minority groups, regardless, like have been fucked over by the U.S. government, and I feel like we all know this. Like we all know this. Even like quote unquote minority groups that we wouldn't even consider minority groups, like Irish and Italians, they were also fucked over too. Like I get it, and I think that I'm gonna give Dennis Camp the chance to actually like what this new America would look like post Maker's bullshit. I feel like we can agree on that.
I just kind of want Captain America to kind of stand up for himself. Like I'm not.
And I feel like
that
will. I personally think that will come when it comes. That's my thing. It will come when it comes. I think right now, since Steve is still kind of new to this whole thing, as of what I know, like at this moment in time, he's only been back for like a few months, I think. A few months, if I'm right, because I don't know, I should really go reread some of the older issues. But regardless, yeah, I'm gonna give Dennis Camp a chance. I personally don't think that he's anti-American in this. I just think that he's very aware of all the atrocities that happened, even before the Makers nonsense, which I'm not getting into. Me and Jake will have this conversation later about evil Reed Richards. I feel like we need to have this one of these days.
Look,
it will come. It will come, but not today. But honestly, I like this issue. I like how this book is bringing up the social commentaries because, I like this book. And also, anyone on Twitter who's going to be talking shit about Charlie with all the bad intentions, or just talk about this book with all the bad intentions, I will fight you on Twitter. I will defend Charlie's honor with my life because I will. Cryptid, you can quote me on that.
Gotcha. I kind of do want to talk a little bit about the confrontation between Hawkeye and Captain America, because look, again, I knew what the comments were going to be made when Hawkeye was going to talk directly to Steve, and the issue kind of showed that. But like in the back of my mind, I'm thinking maybe this is the writer's way of going back to like the original interactions between Hawkeye, Clint Barton and Steve Rogers, because I know this is kind of like forgotten to a lot of people, but Clint Barton
was a villain.
He wasn't just a villain, but he was an outright douche. Like he was that that rebellious youngster, didn't like taking orders. As a matter of fact, when Steve came in, he's like, why is this guy Steve? Why is this guy going to be captain? I mean, he's an overrated has-been. Yeah, things were very tense between Steve and Clint in their early days, but it took time for them to progress, and Clint eventually did trust Steve.
So, do you think that's going to happen with this book with Charlie and Steve?
Yeah,
or something related to that?
Like the best case, like out of that last line is I could think of that Charlie is going to say that Steve is their favorite white guy or least hated white guy.
Yeah, I can honestly see that.
And I'm like, that
I could actually see Charlie saying that in my mind.
Yeah.
But I think we need time for Charlie to actually know Steve first. But keep in mind, like I said, Steve is still new to this world. So
and I mean, also keep in mind, audience, like the progression between Steve and Clint, it got so it turned out so much for the better that even Clint, he was up for nomination for being Captain America after Steve died in Civil War, right?
I do remember that. Yeah, but Bucky took it up.
Yep, Bucky took it over. I mean, first Clint was asked first before Bucky, and he's just doesn't feel that's right. I mean, for God's sakes, Steve hasn't even been buried yet, and they're already thinking, and they already want me to replace him. Yeah, he had an utmost amount of respect for Steve up at that point,
But it definitely did take time.
Yeah, but I'm just not seeing respect from this version of Hawkeye to Steve being the end game, So
I mean, I'll give it time. Like I said, I'll give it time because Charlie seems like a little bit different because they've had different life experiences than Clint.
Yep.
Like I said, Charlie's honor with my don't think I won't. I think I won't cryptid. I will find every talking shit.
I don't hate Charlie specifically. I just am hesitant on what, sort of this is, if anything, they'll be making towards Steve going forward. I'm gonna be hesitant about that.
But hey, Steve won the fight though.
I would like to say it was a draw, but yeah.
Well, a youngster beating up.
But no, their fight technically got
interrupted.
Their fight got interrupted by Roxxon, so I don't really count it. I count that as a draw for.
Well, the only reason I counted it as a win was because he says, and he's up to the effects of and it ends like it always does. The Cowboys win or something like that. So
Cowboys kill the Indians.
Yeah.
After Charlie was shooting razor arrows, bomb arrows, acid arrows, even killer arrows.
He knew the captain could take it.
Nah, Jake, that goes on to the level of what happened in that awful Jackson Lansing Joe Kelly run where you had Peggy Carter shoot a bazooka at the cafe Steve and his son were at. And the end of the event is like, well, we knew you could take it. What the?
Charlie was like, yeah, you can take it. It's fine.
Oh, I'm tired of that.
But I will say this, I'll end it off with this. The covers for these books are
so good.
Yeah.
So good.
Wait, who drew the main cover? Who did that? So the main cover was drawn by Dyke Ruan and Niraj Menon. Don't quote me on that. I think that's how you pronounce it. Yeah, no, I love these covers. I think this is probably one of the most slick covers that I've ever seen. I could see this being someone's wallpaper.
No, definitely.
Yeah.
Like I can see
the variant
wallpaper.
Cover. Just to let you all know, audience, that awesome variant cover of this issue of Ultimates, it got sold out in my comic shop.
Yeah, I didn't even check, honestly. I was too busy trying to get other books. But next time I go to my comic shop, I'll probably pick up a variant cover.
Yeah, the cover right here, that was the only one that was left in my shop. So yeah,
I just get this book in my subscription, and I don't even get variant covers in my subscription unless I specifically ask for variants. But anyways, I like this book. I like this issue. I will defend Charlie with every ounce of my being. Make sure you do your research because I'm not explaining Two-Spirit or the history of indigenous atrocities to you because I feel like I'm very underqualified to do so. And don't test my patience. I'm already fighting all the MCU files about Wiccan. Don't test my patience.
There we go.
All right. But with that, we should probably get on. We still have comics to talk about. So, all right, on to the next one.
I got it.
Jake.
Yeah.
Have fun, Jakefer.
Reed Richards nearly dooms the world again in Fantastic Four number 26.
No. At a certain point, I gotta say how much of the blame is on Aunt Petunia after reading this issue, Jake.
Wait,
all
Aunt
right?
Petunia?
Yes. I'll get to it.
The actual issue.
Oh well, hey, okay. Well, listen. Let me tell you something. I'm gonna tell you right now. I feel like the writer and artist loved seeing Johnny and Reed shirtless because that was half of this issue.
I wanted to say that too. I mean, like, Reed, for being like a science nerd, I mean, dude, you have a body, man.
Bro,
like,
he's
like,
he was so. I was like, it was just cool seeing Johnny and Reed just look like they were just men. They were just like manning it up. I was like, yeah. They were the bros, bro. Yeah. But basically, the plot is such that Reed is preparing for the inevitable next showdown with Dr. Victor Von Doom. And then he's testing on his device and he finds there's some magic in the basement. And Johnny's like, we should dig it up. And Reed's like, maybe we should wait for Sue. And Johnny's like, no. And Reed's like, okay. And so they dig up a giant hole in the basement, and ghosts shoot out and destroy the house. That is somehow on Petunia's fault, but whatever. Okay, just moving on. Just want to say that.
How dare she own a house over a spiritual land, man?
He probably didn't know it was there. So,
come on. Like, they were just digging. Reed and Johnny, come on.
But I think what I really liked about this too is I love how the author here. Oh, I'm keep trying to remember his name. Ryan North.
Ryan North, yeah.
I like how Ryan North is so good about, like, you know what? We don't have a personal story about Johnny and Reed this week. We don't have
they're in-laws, you know, after all. Come on.
Right. The writer really likes splitting different dynamics between characters to see like what will work and what makes them interconnected so they feel like a family. And I do like there were like some little small jokes I really like. Like I like when so at some point Reed deduces if I put like a hose down here, that'll stall the process. God, I'm looking at some of these panels, bro. Ripped Reed is crazy. Oh my, he's so jacked. But yeah,
dude, you know he gets himself more jacked when he's in bed with Sue, man. Come on.
Listen, there's a reason Sue keeps coming back. Okay. But yeah, so he puts a hose down there, and Johnny's like, I have an idea. I'm going upstairs, and then like Reed's just staring at the hose, and Johnny's like, no, Reed, like, come with me. Johnny's like, oh, that was a funny one. There's a lot of like good humor like that in the book. I really enjoyed. I also I think one of the things I really appreciated, and this carries over from when Reed started, and the Reed and Valeria team up, which is Reed's willingness to dive more into magical understanding. He's not learning spells. But he is taking the time to be like, okay, well, if magic can do this, think of all the cool shit this could do in the science world. Like if I converted this over, I was like, I thought that was like pretty cool. I like that. I like that Reed was. He was talking about how like how they could use this magic to like power rockets and stuff like that.
Hey Jake, do you think by the end of this, Reed will believe in ghosts?
I think I'll find a way to say no.
Have you met Reed Richards?
Yeah, remember it wasn't that long ago where Reed was telling Johnny, ghosts do not exist.
I do have to call bullshit on something, though. Yeah. So at some point, Reed and Johnny go over to fight a cult because they need something that always puts something in the ghost portal, so the ghost portal will always stay closed off. And they want to get a skull belonging to a French cult that always spews blood eternally. And so this is all fine, but then they get into a fight scene, and there's a part of this fight scene where Reed splits his head in half, and I'm like, that should not be possible. That does not sound like that should be a thing.
He's depressing the center of his head down while it's in a U shape. I mean,
his brain. What's happening to his
brain? His brain is flexible, man. Come
His
on.
brain is snapped in half. That's insane.
It's in a U shape. It's a V shape at that point, man.
That just seems dumb. And he splits it all the way down to the back of his head. Like, oh no, that should not work. That's just gross. I think there should be a limit on him. But you know, they wind up saving the day, and this is a story they all explain. And they explain to Sue and the rest of the family. And would you look at that? Valeria's in her little Doom outfit. How precious.
Yeah. Yeah, the audience, this is a Halloween edition of the comic, So.
I really wish Dr. Doom could see this. I feel like his heart would skip a beat. He's like, that's my daughter!
yeah, Richards wanted to run the DNA test now.
You know what's crazy? She looks good in that suit. She should really be Doom someday. I really think she should.
I know, right? So yeah, everybody's in costume. I think Sue is supposed to be Indiana Jones. Ben's daughter is Captain Marvel, and Alicia is detective, from the detective issue not so long ago. Ben's son is, the Kree boy, he's Captain America, and Franklin is Spider-Man, and I love the dog you remember the dog that Ben adopted, audience? He's dressed as Jeff the Shark.
Yes! Yay!
Yeah. I actually, the thing I didn't like about this panel is that Franklin is for some reason way taller than everybody else, and I was so confused by this. I thought that was actually Peter Parker in the frame. I was like, oh, Peter went trick or treating with the family. Oh wait, no, that's Franklin.
They had to give him black hair for a reason, Jake. Just keep that in mind. Yeah.
I feel like somebody is off model here. I don't think Franklin should be that much taller than everybody, but. It is what it is.
That was me reading Marauders. Don't worry about it. They made two of the characters look way too similar to each other.
But yeah, I love how everybody in that group is giving Reed and Johnny the stink eye. Even Alicia,
I like how they're trying to defend it. It's like, yeah, but we saved the world, though.
Yeah.
It's like, but Sue, we saved the world. Why are you? It's such a funny conversation. Like this look of I think they do it 3 times where Sue's like, why are you guys like this? We left you for 4 hours and you tore a hole in the basement. And he's like, but honey, I saved the world.
By the way, audience, I forgot to mention Ben Grimm. He's dressed up as Gandalf.
Yes. I like how the adults are dressed as like random things, but the kids want to be superheroes and a villain, I guess. Yeah. Well, I guess the Valeria Doom is her hero. So
early on in this book, right, when Ben and John, Reed and Johnny were digging that hole in the basement and removing all those boulders, I kind of liked what Johnny was saying. Okay, I take everything I said back about Ben. He is a star member of the team. He needs to be. His powers are useful.
Yeah. I really like how, and also it ends on a wholesome note. Wholesome note. Like this made my heart melt and grow 3 sizes. So basically the kids' beds got destroyed and the ghost attack. And so John, it's a small thing, but Johnny's like, after they get to see the skull spewing blood, by the way, thanks to Susan's powers, Johnny's like, well, we could blow out the air mattresses, but who wants to go out back and camp with Uncle Johnny?
Yeah, who wouldn't want to camp with Uncle Johnny?
Yeah, and so the final panel is all the kids in a tent with Johnny. They've eaten their candy and they're all sleeping under the stars.
Can you send me that picture later?
Yeah, I guess.
And there are remnants of the spirits all around them.
Well, Johnny.
Are they kind of like will-o-wisps, or are they just kind of like?
Their projections, like you have. Apparently, the thing is, what was lying dormant under Aunt Petunia's house was the spirits of every living creature that had died in that one specific spot.
Yeah,
that's very specific.
Yeah, like you're talking about you have an astral projection of a dinosaur, like a long neck. Then you have a dragonfly. Then you have this sea creature. I don't know the proper name of it. It's like a shell something. Well, yeah, like prehistoric creatures too, you know. So
yeah. But like I said before, like every issue, this writer really impresses me. I think this is my favorite Marvel book of all time right now.
Wow.
It's just so good. It nails what you would love about the Fantastic Four. It makes them relatable, but it also keeps them like who they are without sacrificing like who they are.
I think that's why people also like the Squirrel Girl book as well, because it's written also by Ryan North.
Okay.
And also, I think I can't remember exactly what he studied, but Ryan North did study I think one of the science, like a science thing.
Oh yeah, definitely. Again, he's a perfect voice for Reed.
STEM goily.
Yeah, he's a perfect voice for Reed. They're just a bunch of science mumbo jumbles all around his run that I can't explain. I get it for the life of me, but that's the point. You know, it's so scientific. You know?
But I like how he's able to. You could have an issue that's like very science heavy, and then you have like one that's just like it's just a fun. It's like it brings it back down to earth for you. You know what I mean? Like not everything has to be like the end of the science.
Oh, speaking of down to earth, guess we see the cover for the next issue, and guess who's popping up from down the earth?
Oh, Mole Man.
Your mama. Your mama's not Mole Man.
But it doesn't.
I don't think my mom has a thing for Mole Man.
No, I'm just saying she likes to hang out. She likes to vibe.
I don't think this book gets enough credit. I don't really see a lot of people talking about it, which is a shame because the art is great, the writing is great. It's so much better. Like there are a lot of books. Oh, go ahead.
Yeah, I just want to say a lot of people are eyeing this book with what happened in the last issue, but this issue is just going back. Like for the entirety of this run, except that one issue, this was a great series audience, and just please give it a chance. You know?
I think Ryan North was at San Diego Comic-Con this year.
I want to talk about this. I want to talk to him about like, does he have a thing for Reed? Because like, why is he so jacked? Like,
if I meet Ryan North before you read Ryan North, I will ask him that question.
Hang on. Let me show you a picture. I'm gonna post this in our server because we don't.
Okay. Post it up, and it'll take me a minute to upload it here. Yeah,
my pictures are sideways though, so like you know.
Yeah, no, go ahead. No, I'm so glad. Oh
no, go ahead.
Wait, is that the picture of Reed you wanted, or?
Oh no. That's I was showing which wanted to see the picture of them under the stars.
Okay.
Oh, that's so cute.
Okay. Show me the picture of Reed.
All right, which I'm posting it in there. We're gonna post it on the channel, but it just came in. Look how like unreasonably Jack Reed.
This feels wrong. This kind of feels wrong. Am I the only one that thinks this?
Hold on a sec. Let me post it up for the audience to see.
It's even worse when he stretches because his abs get more pronounced when he does the stretching.
I don't know. It just feels wrong that he's this muscular, you know?
Right.
No.
But
there we go, audience.
There you go for all the Reed Richards simps.
I guess, yeah.
I like the picture of Johnny like camping with all the kids. I like that.
Oh, that was it's such a good moment. Like I said, they just know he knows how to get those emotional heartstrings, and they should really make this run a TV show. This is like,
what was Valeria dressed up as? Do you remember?
She was Dr. Doom.
Oh, okay.
She dressed up as her father, the father who stepped up.
So, fun fact: at San Diego Comic-Con, the group that was before me in the cosplay contest, one of them was dressed up as Valeria Doom. So, fun facts with me, by the way. If you watch the the video that Marvel posted about the cosplay contest, you'll see that, and also all those cheers were not there. Not there.
But yeah, it's a great book, great art. Please support it. Please get Marvel to realize this is how you do the Fantastic Four.
Well, I'm sure it's getting a lot of traction. I mean, for God's sake, it's reached up to 26. You know, without going back to number 1. So Ryan North must be doing something right with the audience.
That's true. So. That's true. I just don't see a lot of review, or maybe I'm not looking in the right places. I just don't see a lot of people like reviewing it online. So
yeah, I just said, but I guess that's the difference between reviewers and the people coming into the comic book store. You know,
that's true. Yeah.
All right. All right. Okay, audience. With that,
Oh my
let's
god,
move
it's
on
the
to the
last
last book.
issue, the last book, and now we're getting off of Marvel and DC, and we're here to go to IDW, and we're gonna talk about Monster High's Halloween special, which it was actually pretty cute, not gonna lie. Anyways, so I just want to preface that some of the outfits that the characters are wearing are actually based off of dolls that have existed, and one of them's in my room right now. But besides the
Dang.
Hey, I go to San Diego Comic-Con, okay? I'm able to get these dolls. But the one that Claudine is wearing, it's based off of the fairy tale crossover one that they did. It wasn't the Ever After High, that's a whole different thing. Any whoosies. So we start off with this like owl bird thing, basically giving commentary, being like, oh yeah, Halloween's upon us, you know, darkness, raining, blah 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 blah. You get the idea. Heat with caution, trick and treats both prosper here, which makes sense. This is a monster society. Anyways, so we see this person being like, the students have been working so hard this semester, even under such tense circumstances. They deserve a little bit of fun, which, duh. Anyway, so we cut over to the students. We see Claudine, Frankie, and Claudine's like, Frankie, why aren't you in costume? And I forgot today, so I was gonna practice. And besides, if I went there, I probably wouldn't like dirty and spill on it. You know, I wouldn't want a costume contest. And Claudine, you believe the talking how? You know, like those are so expensive. I don't know what I'm referencing here. Not important. Anyway, so Frank, oh yeah, since you designed my costume, share it. They shared if I win, you know. They're really helpful with monster literature. You know, like you should claim partial custody if any costumes win. I mean, like Julia, Deuce, Claude, Laguna. Like, if you didn't know, Claudine is a fashion designer, so I would expect her to make a whole bunch of costumes for Halloween. Anyway, so we cut over to later on after Claudine and Frankie leave the building, and we see Cleo pulling up, you know, and she's in this really cute costume, you know, she has like cat ears and stuff, you know, she's Egyptian royalty, she has to pull the fuck up, you know, right, Jake?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Which could you I kind of heard you. I don't know if it's just me. Could you leave and come back? I think there's something wrong with the connection.
Me?
Yeah, I did hear a little bit of static in earlier, but right now.
Okay, hold on. I'll be right back.
Yeah.
Okay. Okay.
Beep, beep, beep.
Oh, you're back.
You hear me?
Say a full sentence.
Hi, I guess.
There you go.
Continue.
All good.
Okay, so I was at Cleo. Okay, Cleo pulls up. She's wearing this cute ass costume because she's Egyptian royalty. She's gonna pull up, you know. And so basically, Frankie and Claudine are giving praises, and Cleo's like, "Thanks, Meowity and Persephone. It's like thanks to them, like you know, it's from a designer in Scaris, which is Paris, if you didn't know." And Frank and not Cleo. What am I saying? Claudine is like, "Wow, she really went all out." And Frankie was like, "There goes my AM monster literature." And Cleo's like, Halloween is such a human thing, but any excuse for a new outfit, right? Which is very Cleo, if you didn't know. And so we see from off panel someone saying hi to Claudine, and we find out that it's Deuce, who's in like this like, I'm assuming Roman soldier type thing, even though he's a Gorgon. But I wouldn't worry about that too much. You know, I'm not really caring about fully accuracy when it comes to Halloween. You know, but it's fine. Anyways. So he's like, oh, yeah, everyone's obsessed with the gladiator. You're the best, you know? And Claudine's like, you're totally rocking it. And Cleo's like, on second thought, maybe the carnival will be scary. You never know when you might get stabbed in the back. Maybe literally, maybe figuratively. I don't know. In the main book, Cleo thinks Claudine and Deuce are going to be a thing, even though probably not, honestly. Anyway, so we cut over to the carnival, and the owl narrator thing is like, oh yeah, the moon is low and school is out and fun and games are all about. The monsters can without a fear enjoy themselves on their campus. And so we see people playing in bumper cars, you know, getting tarot readings. And we cut over to Claudine, Draculaura, and Gulia, who's fun fact, she's in her Dead Fast Gulia outfit, the new one, not the old one. Which I actually have that doll, by the way. It's on my shelf. If you want a picture, you better follow me on Twitter because I'm not doing anything. And I don't care what anyone says. I took it out of the box. I don't plan on reselling it. Fuck you. Right, Cryptid?
Yep.
Yep.
Listen to which audience?
I'm not selling her. Okay, I spent $75 on her. I'm not selling her. Fuck you, all you scalpers, for making my life worse. Anyways, so Claudine is like, okay, how does a ghost ship have actual ghost sailors on deck? And Draculaura, which I think her outfit's based off of like a past doll, but I can't recall at the moment. So if any of y'all have read it, hit me up on Twitter because I can't recall. I think it might be the one from the actual like Halloween movie where I can't remember the name for the life of me, but it's basically when Jackson goes to the human world, but it doesn't work out, and so Whole Tide is the one about to get burnt alive at the stake. I wouldn't worry about it too much. We'll watch this movie later. Anyways, so Draculaura is like, do you think it's cool? It's not boring, right? People aren't gonna leave. And Gulia responds, but I can't figure out what she's saying, but at the moment we'll figure it out. And so Draculaura is like, Headmaster Frankenstein and I worked so hard to plan this festival, and she's like, I really hope we don't get any bold normies trying to sneak off the campus tonight, which is valid, honestly, because of what happened the last time. What happened? And Gulia says something, and Claudine's like, Gulia's right. We should relax now. Like, the carnival is going great. And they go on the ghost ship, and Draculaura is freaking the fuck out. Which is like, damn. Like, come on, it's the ghost ship. You wouldn't want to go on a ghost ship? Jake, would you want to go on a ghost ship?
I would, but I'm a different type of person. Okay, I would do it just because it sounds fun.
Okay, Cryptid, would you go on a ghost ship?
Hell no, going out to sea like that. No, I don't want to be part of the ghosts in that crew.
No, you wouldn't be a part of the ghost ship. You would just, it's kind, those like swinging boat rides, the ones.
Oh yeah, those.
It's like that, but a ghost ship because they're monsters.
Got it. I'll take a cruise. I haven't been to one since I was in middle school, so might as well. So
Yeah, fair enough. So. But we do learn that Draculaura is afraid of heights, even though she can turn into a bat. But regardless. And then one of the people in the same row as this trio is like, yo, your friend needs to chill. And Claudine's like, yeah, trust me, I know. Anyway, so after the ride, Draculaura's like, never again, And so Gulia points at this like pin the wing on a dragon type of thing. It's like kind of like pin the tail on the donkey, but with the dragon because it's cooler. And so Claudine's like, great idea. And she goes first. She doesn't get anywhere close to it, And so Draculaura goes next, and she gets it. And this Grim Reaper looking mofo, gives her a pair of glasses, which were X-ray glasses that were designed by the Headmaster Frankenstein himself. Like you never know. You never know when you're going to need to use X-ray glasses. Right, Jake?
That's right.
Exactly. Where's Austin? Where the hell is he? He missed out on all his books. Regardless. Anyway, so Draculaura says thanks. They go on their way. And Claudine's like, come on, I think I saw a whack-a-mole at the booth over there. So we cut over to Frankie and Cleo. They're just kind of walking around, whatever, And Cleo's like, oh my god, there they are. And Frankie's like, what are they doing? So we see Deuce, Claude, and Manny Tor, if anyone was curious. You could probably guess what kind of monster he is. They're just hanging out. And Deuce is like, you really think you can win, Claude? And Manny, who's, fun fact, dressed up as a cowboy, even though he is a minotaur. And Claude is dressed up as a sheep shepherd thing, So Manny's like, oh man, how come all I get is this piece of robe? I mean, you're a cowboy. What did you expect? Cryptid, what did you expect? He's a cowboy.
Yep.
He's a minotaur dressed as a cowboy. Anyways, his face is really adorable in this, which is kind of funny. But anyways, so Frankie's like, what's up with you and Deuce? Did you break up or not? And Cleo's like, yeah, and I'm so glad, even though she's not. She's kind of like fucked. She's like, oh my god, I hate this. Which we do see at the end of issue 2 of New Scaremester, if anyone was curious. Anyways, so Frankie's like, Cleo, did you hear me? Like, I said, should we go into the maze? And Cleo's like, well, and so the boys start going in, and Deuce is like, enter Enter if you dare. Do we dare? And Manny's like, I don't know. You know how terrible I am at mazes, which, if you get the reference, you get the reference. Right, Jake? Right, Cryptid?
Yep.
Well, if I got it, then yeah.
Do you got it, though?
I don't think I do.
Because Minotaur and mazes.
Oh, Percy Jackson. That's right.
God damn it. Anyways, we'll cut back to that later. Anyway, so Cleo's like, yeah, sure, good idea, let's go. So they're like, oh, is this supposed to be scary? Like, humans have weird sense of fun. Like, I bet even Manny could do it. And Manny's like, hey. So we see Cleo and Deuce talking, and he's like, think you can make it out before me? And she's like, obviously. And so before they go in, Claudine, Draculaura, and Gulia meet up with them, and Claudine's like, oh, are you doing the maze? Like, we're thinking about giving it a shot as well. And Claude is like, Cleo thinks she could beat Deuce. How about you? And Claudine's like, I don't know. Like, I've never done a maze before. And they're like, oh, yeah, it looks like an easy one. It'll be great. Then why don't we race? You know, if Claudine will do so great, you know, because that Cleo's kind of still pissed off at Claudine for no really good reason, but besides the point. Frankie's like, sure, why not? Last one out has to, And so Manny's like, oh, god damn, it's gonna be me. I can already tell. And Cleo's like, I've got it. Last one has to sneak into a normie Halloween party and stay for 10 minutes. I think, personally, out of everyone here, I think Cleo is the only one that can actually, like, blend in to normie society. You know, because she looks like the most human, surprisingly. And if, like, Deuce keeps the helmet on, he can pretty much, like, blend in too. Most of them can, besides, like, Frankie, Manny, and then Draculaura. I think they're the only three that can't really blend in some way, shape, or form at a Halloween party, but you can make a case for, you know? Because also Gulia, because she can't speak human tongue because she's a zombie. I feel like I should preference that. That's something that annoyed me about G3, but besides the point. Anyways, so Draculaura is like, we shouldn't sneak out. Like, let's come up with another thing. And Cleo's like, fantastic. Like, I can see the end of the maze from here. Like, please, like, hope you can have fun with the normies later. And Gulia's like, I'm assuming she's saying, like, are you okay with this? And Draculaura is like, okay, let's go in, but there's no way I'm letting anyone leave campus later. And, you know, Frankie checks up on Manny because he's kind of scared of the maze, you know. And she's like, oh, are you okay? And he's like, just flashing back to every family reunion I've ever been to. We always do a maze, and I'm always the only one who can't get out. Like, it's so great. And Frankie's like, that's it. You're coming with me. I'm going to prove to you that the mazes aren't scary. And Manny's like, are you sure? Like, I might get you all turned around. And she's like, don't be silly. It'll be fun. It'll be fine. And I feel like I should preface something. Frankie, you do not have to flirt with every single guy at Monster High. This is an ongoing thing. I know it's going to happen in the freaking holiday special. It just so happens that it's Manny this time. So, good to know. Anyways, so we cut to everyone in the maze, you know. And we see Deuce, Claude, and Cleo go through one of them, you know, and they get, you know, a clown pulls up and it's like, oh, time to join the circus. And they're just not scared. And so the clown runs away being like, I knew I should have done little ghouls parties instead of this. Which, I mean, fair enough, honestly. I think you could scare little kids more than teenagers. Correct me if I'm wrong, right, Jake?
Well, that's right.
Yeah, exactly. Anyways, so Cleo's like, oh, this maze is definitely designed for humans. Like, that was actually hilarious. Good job, dude. You know? And Cleo's like, just once it would be nice to actually be scared on Halloween. You know, because, like, they're all monsters. They all know. Nothing's really gonna, like, scare them, per se. And Cleo's like, it is getting darker in here, and I can't see the exit, can you? And Deuce is like, this is such a strange holiday, dude. I still don't get what's so special about Halloween. And Claude's like, you'll find out later tonight when you lose the race. And Deuce is like, no way I'm losing. Cleo had the right idea running ahead. And Claude's like, oh yeah, she got out of here so fast. I thought for sure those heels would slow her down. And Cleo's like, hey, I am right here. like rude. And Deuce is like, I'm glad she walked with us for a while. She and I haven't seen each other like lately. And Claude's like, maybe you should try to see her more as friends if that's what you want. And Deuce is like, maybe that would be nice, you know. And so these two are running, and they're like, I don't know why I'm still talking to you. I have to win the race, like, you know, all this other stuff. And so basically, Cleo is invisible to them, and she's trying to get their attention, and she's like, Deuce, Claude, why are you ignoring me? Like, fine, I bet that's the wrong way anyway, jerks. Like, what's happening? You know? So we cut over to Claudine, Manny, and Frankie, who are in their own little group, you know? And Manny's like, oh, it actually isn't all that bad, you know? And Frankie's like, see, I told you it would be fun. Like, and Claudine meets up with them, and she's like, I don't know where we are. Like, do you know how close to the end we are? And Frankie's like, and Manny's like, don't ask me, I'm just following Frankie. And Frankie, low-key kind of flirting, is like, oh, please, Manny isn't half as bad as Maze as he think he is. Like, you suggested our last turn, and now we caught up to Claudine. And Manny's like, yeah, but who says any of us is on the right track? Which is, like, fair, because this is a fucked-ass maze. And Claudine's like, unless I'm interrupting something, maybe we should keep walking. And Frankie's like, Manny and I have been talking so much, we forgot about this race, honestly. You know? And so Claudine grabs Frankie's arm, you know, and she's like, you realize you and Manny are giving off, like, super flirty vibes right now? And it's like, God damn it, Frankie. Anyways, so Frankie's like, no way, we've just been, like, talking about our interests and family and stuff, you know, just, like, nothing too crazy, you know. Claudine's like, you absolute newt, that's called flirting. And I'm like, sometimes I guess it would be called flirting, but not usually. But knowing G1 Frankie's reputation in all of this, it wouldn't go past her, honestly. Anyway, so Frankie's like, I thought he was just being nice. Like, he's really funny, and he's kind of cute, how nervous he was, blah, 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 blah. You know? And Claudine pushes Frankie towards Mayonnaise so that they can talk and flirt. And then one of these plant things nips at Frankie's stitches. And do you see where this is going?
I'm willing to find out.
Well, all of her stitches start to fall off, and her limbs are falling off of her body. So she's embarrassed, you know. And so Manny and Claudine, I
would be too.
Yeah, exactly. I would be embarrassed too if my limbs fell off because of a stupid plant, you know. But regardless, so Manny helps Claudine pick up all of Frankie's body parts, you know, and basically has to help her put together. And Claudine is like, I think I hear Deuce's voice up ahead. Why don't you catch up with him so you don't lose the race? And Manny's like, are you sure? I don't mind helping. And Claudine's like, don't worry about it. You go find Deuce. It'll be fine. I will handle Frankie from here. And basically, she puts Frankie back together. And, you know, obviously she's embarrassed, you know. And Claudine's like, yeah, not gonna lie, it was pretty awkward. You could talk once more once we get it through the maze. You know, that's fine. And so Frankie's like, can we pretend this, like, never happened, please? Thanks. And so they turn around and hear some other voices being like, be like, oh yeah, Claudine helped design a ton of these Halloween costumes. Like, what do you think of them? And one of them, like, honestly, she thinks she's so talented, but, you know. And so we can see that this is Toralei as well, with this, like, person in a bunny suit. I don't know who the person in the bunny suit is, but I don't think it really matters. Basically, she's like, nobody will tell her that she has terrible fashion sense, right? And Claudine's like, what are they talking about? Like, what? You know, and that's not going to really help her ego right now, because she was really nervous about this regardless, you know? And they're low-key kind of talking shit, but we don't know if that's because it's actually them, or if it's actually, like, the maze bullshit happening. But I think it's the maze bullshit happening, trying to fuck them over. Anyways, so Frankie's like, okay, I'm all back together. We should just keep going, or we're gonna be the last ones out. And Claudine's like, Frankie, does everyone hate my costumes that I made? Are they horrible? And Frankie's like, what? What are you talking about? No, they're great. Like, you'll totally win the cosplay contest, you know? And Claudine's like, fine, great. That makes me feel so much better. And Frankie's like, okay, I think you're overthinking things. It's okay. Like, come on, we gotta get to the end. It's all good. Like, I can't believe that I fell apart in front of Manny. That's so embarrassing. Like, knowing how Manny was, yeah, I would get how that would be embarrassing. Because, like, if Manny was still being, like, kind of like a bully, like how he was at the beginning of G1, I would be fucked. I would be fucked. Because he would, like, bully the shit out of you about that. but not anymore. He got his ass handed to him one time, but besides the point. And so we find out that the walls are closing in on them, which is not fun at all, because that would freak me the fuck out. I don't know if that'll freak you guys out, but it'll definitely freak me out. Mm-hmm. Anyways, so we cut over to Gulia, Slow-Mo, and Draculaura. They're just kind of like walking around, you know, not really caring. And so Draculaura sees this door, you know, and she's like, okay, I knew about the disappearances, but they never think twice about sneaking off of school grounds. Like, Gulia, do you think anyone would actually try to leave? And so she is like transported into like this office type thing. And basically we see an off-panel voice being like, I told your friends to run ahead, like we need to talk. And we find out that it's Draculaura's father. Mm-hmm. And so basically she's like, Father, what's happening? Like, how are you here? Like, and all this other stuff. And he's like, oh, I haven't seen you in a while. And she's like, sorry, I'm not sure if I can believe my eyes right now. I haven't seen you in months. I'm so happy to see you. My grades aren't still great, but don't worry. I'm on the fear leading squad. Like, I've got a lot on my plate. But most of all, I just missed you. And basically, he's like, Draculaura, like, you barely go to fear leading practice. Like, your grades have slipped. And most of all, you're letting down the school by not taking your protection duty seriously. Like a Halloween carnival, you're supposed to keep the monsters safe, not to run amok on a day where humans are known to wreak havoc on our kind. And what do you have to say for yourself? And she's like, the headmaster wanted to give them a night of fun. It seems harmless. Maybe I didn't think it through. And he's like, absolutely not. Like, why aren't you seeing clearly? You need to snap out of it. You know, and we find out that it was just an illusion. It wasn't actually real, you know? Which, that's fucked, man. Like, what the fuck? That was fucked up. I'm not gonna lie to you there. You'll find out what happens later, but besides the point, because I still got a lot of book left. So basically, Gulia snaps her out of it, you know, and she's like, I don't know, I think I'm losing my mind. Like, we need to get out of here. And Gulia's like kind of trying to catch up, you know. She's like, oh, I think I see the exit, and basically meets up with everyone besides Cleo. We don't know where Cleo is at the moment, but it's fine because she's still invisible. It's fine. Don't worry about it. Anyway, so they all meet up. You see a crack of lightning. They're all like, oh my god, the walls are closing in. It's going to eat us alive. Like, I don't see a way out. Like, and Dracula's, I have an idea. So she turns into her bat form and she goes up to the top of the maze to find out, like, where to go, you know, and where to get out. But don't worry, besties. They get out of the maze. And don't worry about Cleo. She's all fine. She was there. You know, it's all great. Everyone's fine. You know, and Gulia's like exhausted. I'm just like, yeah, you're running in heels, bestie. Like, I'm surprised that you're not tired. I mean, all the girls are running in heels. So, how are y'all surviving? I don't know. But regardless, Cleo's fine. As she should be, you know? Right, Jake? Cleo's fine?
Oh no, Jake. Yeah, remember, which is like 1 a.m. right now for us. So
yeah. It's not my fault you guys start recording so late.
Oh, I'm sorry. I stepped out to do something. I'm back. I put it in the chat.
Okay. Okay, gotcha.
Right. Yeah, Cleo's fine. You know, she's visible, right? She's visible now. Anyways, so the headmaster Frankenstein pulls up, and he's like, oh yeah, tell me, did it really make you like live your own personal nightmares? Like, what fun must have that been? And keep in mind, we still haven't seen like the Professor Frankenstein's like full face, you know, Headmaster Frankenstein's full face. It's still like covered in shadows. And Draculaura's like, Headmaster, when you said you were gonna add a maze to the festivities, I didn't realize how interactive it was gonna be. You know? And he was like, oh, you students always complain that Halloween is a tame human holiday. I thought you would appreciate a real scare, right? Would you do that maze after everything that's happened, you know, with your personal nightmare? Fair enough, honestly. Get it. It's like 10 p.m. where I am right now, so. Yeah. Anyways, so Frankenstein's like, oh yeah, you've done a spectacular job keeping the students out of trouble tonight. Your father would be proud. You know, like, it's been awesome. So basically, the costume contest is gonna start. You know? And so Claudine is still like kind of like, you know, down in the dumps about it. She's like, you know, her confidence is like went down a little bit, and Claude is like, okay, maybe my opinion doesn't count, but your costumes are like exquisite. Like, you're definitely gonna win. And she's like, you have to say that because you're my brother. No one else seems that they're pretty good. And Claude's like, lies, Tora lie. would you please tell my delusional sister that her costumes are awesome? You know? And Toralai's like, oh, it's okay. Like, yeah, he's right. You're like extremely talented. And Claudine's like, really? You don't think that I have terrible fashion sense? And Toralai's like, where did you get that idea from? And Claudine's like, maybe it was a nightmare, because it was a nightmare. Anyway, so we cut over to the costume contest where it's being hosted by, drum roll please. It's hosted by Elvira, like the Elvira.
Oh wow!
Ooh.
I mean, she got her own doll.
Okay.
She was missing a little bit of her assets, but it's fine. She got them back now. She's fine.
Got a superstar there. Nice.
Honestly, I think Elvira fits the vibe of Monster High way better than Lady Gaga that one time, but that's just me personally.
Yeah.
Anyway, so Elvira starts to announce like the costume contest and everything, you know. Basically announces who got third, first, second and first. So Gulia got third for her Deadfast costume, you know. Which is slay, but she's not there at the moment. Anyway, so second place goes to Cleo, and the first prize, drum roll please, is Frankie. Slay, you know. So yeah, I told you Claudine's costumes were gonna win. Why do you doubt me? But anyways, don't worry, Gulia makes it on stage in time, you know, because you know she's panting, she's like out of breath, you know. Anyways, so Cleo's like, has anyone seen Slow-Mo? He said he might be still stuck in the maze, you know? And so Manny's like, I don't know about you, but I'm not going back in that maze. And everyone's like, yeah, no, I agree. But don't worry, Jackie Laura's like, I have a pair of x-ray glasses if you want to go use them and look for them, you know? And Frankie's like, I'll take these, see if you can find them from above the maze, and we'll find them, you know? Like, well, like she'll see if she can find any other students in there, you know. And Frank and Headmaster Frankie said, like, this is horrible. First Bloodgood disappears, and now this. I'm like, my dude, my guy, this is the least of your worries right now. Like, this is not nearly as bad as what it could be, you know. Like, don't worry, it's all good. Anyways, so basically the others are trying to convince Cleo to not actually go sneak into a human party, and so, you know, Cleo's like, I guess if you insist, you know, I won't go and like, and all that other stuff, because it's like, come on, we don't want the queen bee herself, Cleo Denial, Princess Cleo Denial, you know, of the Denial family, you know, to get in trouble. That would be bad. That would be bad. She already has parental issues, and also friend issues and ex-boyfriend issues. We don't need more issues, you know. Anyway, so we end the story with that owl bird thing from narrator thing from earlier, says like some final riddle-ish shit, and that's where the end of the story ends. And we got pictures of both covers, which I picked the one with the variant. I picked up both variant covers, but the one I have currently is the variant cover B, because that was the first one that I saw, and I was too lazy to grab the other one. Yeah, and it also like go read New Scare Master, because it's also really good. We got some fan club stuff as well, which is super cute. And yeah, also if you like Sonic IDW, go read Sonic IDW and Monster High, because those are the only two IDW books that we're talking about on the podcast.
That's true, and we will talk about no other, because nothing matters. But Sonic
at this very moment, nothing matters to us.
Exactly. So.
But,
sorry, the book was so long. It was a one shot, and it was a long one shot.
You had one shot to talk about it, and you took it.
Fair enough, honestly, but I'm also tired, so we should probably wrap it up soon.
Yeah.
All right, audience. Thank you for sticking with us through all this, and we'll be seeing you all next time.
And remember, it was Reed's fault that the ghosts were released,
and it was also Reed's fault for fucking over a whole universe.
It was.
So next week I will be talking about Christopher Chaos, another Halloween special. Yay! If you like Christopher Chaos or Adam Frankenstein. So
yeah.
Gotcha.
Bye, guys.
Okay, bye. I want to go to bed.
Call the floor.